My child, be still for a moment and open your spirit, because what I am about to speak carries the weight of destiny. You have walked through too many battles, questioned too many seasons, and doubted too many signs for you to miss this now. Hear me clearly. This was never random. You were picked for a purpose. There is a reason your heart is stirring, why your life has felt like preparation disguised as struggle. Lean in. Listen closely. Something long hidden is about to be revealed to you, and it will change the way you see everything, especially yourself. Before you ever opened your eyes to this world, I had already been looking at you with love. You think your life began the day you were born, but I tell you, you began in my heart long before time counted its first second. You were not an afterthought. You were not a filler in history. Before the foundations of the earth were laid, I imagined you, I desired you, and I chose you. I shaped your soul with intention, designing every detail of who you are with care that no human mind can fully understand. I knew what your life would sound like, what would make your eyes light up, and what would quietly break your heart. I knew every question you would wrestle with, every doubt that would whisper in your mind, and every wound that would mark your story. And still, I said, yes, this one. I want this one. When others saw just another baby, I saw a purpose wrapped in flesh. When others saw chance, I saw destiny. I placed my fingerprint on your identity, a mark no one else carries in the exact way you do. You have never lived a hidden moment from me. I watched as your tiny body formed in the secret place, and every movement, every heartbeat, every breath developing inside of you was known to me. I called you by name, not just the name men gave you, but the name heaven knows you by, the name that holds your calling, your assignment, your story. You have felt nameless at times, overlooked, misunderstood, even unseen by those you hoped would notice you. But I never once lost sight of you. I did not wait until you proved yourself, performed well, or reached a level of success to love you. I loved you when you could do nothing for me. I loved you when you did not even know I existed. I loved you when you were unaware of your own worth. You have asked, do I really matter? Was I really meant to be here? Am I just one more person among billions? Hear me now. You matter to me more than you can comprehend. I did not simply permit your existence. I desired it. I did not casually allow you to appear in the world. I personally formed you. You were crafted by design, not assembled by random forces. Every part of who you are was filtered through my wisdom and love. Even the parts of yourself that you question, dislike, or wish you could trade away, I knew them all before you did, and I still chose you. I did not accidentally give you your personality, your temperament, your way of thinking, your way of feeling. I shaped them for a reason, with purpose attached to every trait. And while the world, pain, and sin may have twisted some of what I made, I have never changed my mind about you. I have never regretted creating you. I have never once said, this one was a mistake. From eternity, I have been saying over you, you are mine. You are wanted. You are intentional. So when you look at your reflection and question your value, remember this. You began in my heart. You were formed by my hands, and you were called by my voice. You are not an accident. You are the fulfillment of a decision I made in love. Your life did not emerge from a sequence of unrelated events, and nothing about your presence in this world was left to chance. When you wonder whether you simply appeared in the flow of history, I remind you that your existence began in a realm where randomness does not govern anything. You live in a world where people often attribute their beginnings to fate, probability, or the unpredictable movements of life. Yet the truth behind your arrival carries weight far beyond those explanations. Everything that contributed to your becoming, your family line, your ancestry, the generation you were placed in, the moment your heart first beat, was shaped intentionally. You may not see the threads that connect your story to my design, but they stretch farther than you realize. When your soul was conceived, it was not because the world needed another person. It was because the world needed you, specifically. You are not the product of chance. You are the result of choice, and that choice was mine. You have lived through moments where you questioned whether your presence mattered. Perhaps you've looked at your life and wondered why you were born into certain circumstances, why things unfolded the way they did, or why your path felt different from others. I understand these questions, and I am not offended by them. They come from a heart longing for meaning, and meaning is woven deeply into your identity. If you look closely at the patterns of your life, you will notice that many events, though confusing at the time, align themselves with an underlying purpose. These moments were shaping the framework of who you would become and positioning you for the assignments I prepared long before you understood them. Even now, connections are forming in ways that will make sense when you reflect later. You are not drifting. You are being guided. There were specific challenges you encountered because the strength needed for your calling required refinement. There were blessings I gave you early, not to spoil you, but to reveal what it feels like when my hand rests upon you. There were seasons you walked through that others did not face because the weight of your purpose differs from theirs. You were never meant to blend silently into the background of existence. What I placed within you called for significance, and significance cannot be formed through randomness. It emerges when a life is sculpted with intention, clarity, and direction, even when those qualities are not fully visible in the moment. So when your thoughts try to convince you that you are just one more life among billions, remember the truth. You are here because I wanted you here. Your existence follows a divine intention that has been unfolding since the beginning. Nothing about you is random. Nothing about your arrival was a mistake. Your life moves inside a purpose greater than coincidence, and every step you take continues to align with the reason I brought you into this world. You entered this world at the exact moment I intended, and your timing on earth was never late, early, or uncertain. When you consider the vastness of history, millions of years, countless generations, it may seem overwhelming that your life fits precisely into this particular era. Yet I placed you in this time because your gifts, your voice, and your presence are needed now more than at any other point in history. Your birth was not a random point on a timeline. It was a placement, strategic and purposeful, selected with more care than you can imagine. I positioned you in this generation because the challenges of your time require what I built into you. You were not shaped for another century, another culture, or another moment. You were tailored for this one. You may look at the world around you and feel overwhelmed by its complexities. You may wonder why you were born into a generation filled with so many uncertainties, conflicts, and rapid changes. Yet the timing of your arrival was not meant to intimidate you. It was meant to awaken what lies within you. The world you inhabit holds opportunities, assignments, and relationships specifically aligned with your capabilities. I did not place you here to struggle without purpose. I placed you here because you carry solutions, wisdom, compassion, and resilience uniquely suited to this age. If you had been born earlier or later, what I placed in you would not have aligned with the needs of the world. This moment is your moment. Consider how much of your life has unfolded in harmony with timing you did not control. Some doors opened at just the right moment, while others remained closed until you were ready. Certain people entered your life exactly when you needed encouragement, correction, or direction. Even the delays that frustrated you were part of a refined timing that shaped your character and prepared your heart. The experiences that matured you could not have happened earlier without overwhelming you. The opportunities you stepped into required the wisdom developed through seasons you once questioned. Everything synchronized with a design that moved beyond human planning. From the moment you took your first breath, you have been living inside a divine timeline crafted with precision. You may feel behind at times, as if you should have accomplished more by now, but your process is unfolding exactly as it should. Nothing is off schedule. Your steps are aligning with my plan, even when you do not recognize the rhythm. The chapter you are entering now required every moment that came before it. I am not late in your life, and neither are you. You are right where you belong, at the time you were meant to be. You carry something within you that was meant to impact the world exactly as it exists today. The qualities that make you who you are were not formed haphazardly. They were placed within you for the sake of people living in this specific generation. When you look at the times you live in, you may see unrest, confusion, or uncertainty. Yet I see opportunity for your gifts to emerge, for your resilience to encourage others, and for your presence to shift the atmosphere in ways only you can. What I placed inside you, your compassion, your discernment, your creativity, your strength, was designed for the hearts and lives around you right now. You are part of an unfolding story far greater than the one you imagine for yourself. Throughout your life, you have noticed that certain things stir your heart more deeply than they do for others. You sense burdens, injustices, or longings in ways that feel personal, even when they do not directly involve you. That sensitivity is not accidental. It is a sign of what I placed inside you to serve this generation. The people around you, family, friends, strangers you pass, carry wounds, doubts, and needs that align with the gifts embedded within you. You may not recognize your impact, but the world feels your presence more than you realize. The way you speak, listen, encourage, and stand firm matters in ways you cannot fully see. You were shaped with precision for these days. You may sometimes wonder why you feel out of place or why you do not think or behave like others. This sense of difference is not a flaw, it is evidence of purpose. I designed you to bring something distinct into your generation, not to imitate what already exists. Your life holds a dimension of influence that cannot be replicated by another voice. Even your struggles have equipped you to relate to others who walk through similar battles. You understand pain in a way that makes you compassionate, and you understand perseverance in a way that makes you steady. The transformation happening within you is not only for you, it is preparation for what you will release into the world. Your generation needs hope, wisdom, courage, and love expressed through human vessels. I placed these qualities in you so they could flow from your life into others. Even the smallest interactions can carry extraordinary weight. You were born into this time because your presence is essential. You are not an observer of this era. You are a contributor to its healing and transformation. Everything within you has purpose, and everything around you connects with that purpose. You were placed here intentionally, and what you carry is exactly what this generation needs. There is something inside you that has always set you apart, something you sensed even before you had words to describe it. You may have noticed early glimpses of it in childhood, in the way certain things stirred your heart while others passed by unnoticed. That sensitivity, that curiosity, that spark of creativity or strength or compassion, none of it emerged randomly. Every gift within you was woven deliberately into your spirit, placed there like seeds waiting for the right season to flourish. You did not choose these abilities, and they did not come from the shifting influences of your environment. They came from a deeper place, placed in you with intention and purpose. Even the gifts you have struggled to understand or have downplayed because they did not look impressive to others carry significance in ways you will one day recognize clearly. Some of these gifts matured quickly, while others have waited quietly for the right circumstances to awaken them. You have spent years discovering who you are, unaware that I already see the fullness of all I placed inside you. From the moment you entered this world, these gifts began working quietly in your character, shaping how you respond to challenges and how you interpret the world around you. They influenced the choices you made, the passions that captured your attention, and the burdens that lingered in your heart without explanation. Even when you felt uncertain about your direction, your gifts were guiding you, drawing you toward experiences that would strengthen them. The skills you developed over time were not coincidences. The abilities you possess are not ornamental or optional. They were selected intentionally to serve a larger story, one that involves not only your growth, but the impact you will have on others. Some gifts feel natural, flowing easily through your life, while others have required seasons of stretching and growth. Yet all of them were placed in you because they align with the purpose attached to your life. There were moments when you felt out of place or misunderstood because others did not see what I placed within you. Their inability to recognize your gifts does not diminish their value. Hidden gifts are often the most powerful ones. You have also questioned your worth at times, comparing yourself to others who seem more capable or confident. But the uniqueness of your gifts is exactly what this world requires from you. They help you connect with people who need what you carry. They help you walk through doors I opened for you. They help you become the person I designed you to be. Nothing within you lacks intention, and nothing you carry is without purpose. With every passing season, you will see more clearly why these gifts were chosen for you specifically. They are not there to decorate your life. They are there to empower it. There is a reason certain qualities rise naturally within you, qualities that feel like the deepest and truest expression of who you are. These strengths did not appear randomly, nor were they solely the result of your upbringing or experiences. They were intentionally placed in you because they support the mission and calling tied to your life. You have strengths that others admire but cannot easily replicate. You think a certain way, feel a certain way, and respond a certain way because these traits were shaped for your purpose. Your resilience, your empathy, your ability to see potential in difficult situations. These reflect more than just personality. They reflect design. You are crafted with the specific strengths needed to walk the path I set before you. Even the strengths you overlook or undervalue contribute to the assignments you will encounter. Throughout your life, you have leaned on certain strengths during seasons of challenge. While you may sometimes attribute your endurance to your personality or circumstances, your ability to rise again comes from a deeper source. Strength is forged within you through both hardship and hope. The strengths you possess developed over time, growing layer by layer as you learned, adapted, and persevered. Moments that tested you did not come to break you. They came to reveal what was already within you. Many people do not realize their capacity until they face situations that demand more from them than they expected. You discovered qualities within yourself during such moments, qualities that others could not see simply by looking at you. These strengths were always part of your design. They simply needed the right circumstances to surface. You may sometimes question your abilities when you encounter pressure or unfamiliar challenges, but these moments are opportunities for your strengths to expand. What I placed within you cannot be diminished by doubt, fear, or adversity. Challenges do not erase your strengths, they refine them. Each strength you carry has a role in the purpose unfolding in your life. The way you listen, encourage, comfort, lead, create, or persevere aligns with the people you will influence and the tasks you will accomplish. These strengths are not limited to personal successes. They are meant to serve others as well. Your presence carries weight because of the qualities embedded within you. You will see the significance of these strengths more clearly as you continue moving forward. Nothing about your capability is accidental. Everything aligns with what you are meant to fulfill. There are areas in your life that you struggle with, parts of yourself you wish you could change instantly. These weaknesses can feel like obstacles, making you wonder why they remain present despite your desire to overcome them. Yet these vulnerabilities are not signs of failure or evidence that something is wrong with you. They serve a deeper purpose that connects you to me in ways your strengths cannot. While your strengths help you move forward, your weaknesses create space for trust, humility, and reliance on something greater than your own ability. You were never meant to walk through life relying solely on your strength. That would leave you isolated, burdened, and exhausted. Your weaknesses remind you that you do not have to carry everything alone. They reveal the depth of your need, not as a flaw, but as a pathway to connection and guidance. There have been moments where your weaknesses made you feel unqualified, inadequate, or discouraged. You may have questioned whether they diminish your purpose or reduce your value. Yet these areas of struggle often become the very places where transformation begins. They teach you to slow down, to listen more carefully, and to seek my presence when you feel overwhelmed. There is a tenderness that forms within you when you acknowledge your limitations. It opens your heart to greater compassion for others. It helps you recognize that everyone carries battles you cannot see. These weaknesses not only shape your character, they strengthen your relationships with others. People relate to authenticity, not perfection. Your vulnerability creates connection in ways your strengths never could. Even the weaknesses you do not understand serve a role in your journey. Some remain present to prevent pride from taking root. Others exist because they direct you toward growth you would not pursue otherwise. When you face challenges that expose your limits, those moments teach you how to lean on grace. You learn that perfection is not required for purpose. You learn that progress is more meaningful than flawlessness. And you learn that I do not judge you based on your struggles. I walk with you through them. Your weaknesses do not disqualify you. They draw you closer to the strength I offer. They remind you that purpose does not depend on having everything figured out. It depends on your willingness to keep moving forward, trusting that what you lack is covered by what I provide. Your journey is not hindered by your weaknesses. They are part of the shaping process, guiding you, refining you, and teaching you how to rely on what cannot be shaken. Through them, you learn to depend on me, not out of fear, but out of trust. There are moments in your life when you felt unnoticed, as if your presence blended into the noise of the world and your emotions went unheard. Yet every second of your existence has rested beneath my watchful awareness. You have never taken a breath outside my attention. When you were young and lacked the vocabulary to express what troubled your heart, I understood every unspoken stirring within you. When you grew older and life became heavier, I remained attentive to your thoughts, your silent disappointments, and the hopes you were afraid to voice. You may assume you walked through certain seasons alone, but my presence surrounded you even when you could not sense me. I observed every struggle you endured, every milestone you reached, and every secret battle that played out behind closed doors. Nothing about your journey has passed without my awareness or care. You experienced situations where people overlooked your needs or failed to comprehend the weight you carried. Their inability to see you clearly contributed to feelings of isolation, leaving you to wonder whether your emotions mattered at all. Yet these human limitations never diminished my perception of you. I have always known what burdens your heart and what brightens your spirit. Even in times when you hid your pain beneath strength or silence, nothing escaped my understanding. Your tears have never been meaningless. Your laughter has never gone unnoticed. Your questions, even the ones you were too afraid to voice, reached me with clarity. I have followed every chapter of your story with closer attention than you give to your own memories. There were nights when you lay awake with thoughts that felt too heavy to carry. On those nights, I was nearer than you realized. I did not turn away from your confusion or your weariness. Instead, I held space for your emotions, ensuring you were never abandoned to them. You navigated seasons that seemed to blur together, seasons where nothing made sense and the path ahead felt foggy. Despite the uncertainty surrounding you, I remained present in every step you took. My care for you did not waver because of your doubts or your fear. I remained with you because your value is not determined by your confidence, but by my love for you. Whenever you questioned your worth or wondered whether your life held meaning, my gaze still rested upon you with unwavering affection. You may not always feel seen by people, but you have always been seen by me with perfect clarity. Every moment, every emotion, every inner shift is known to me. You are not a distant thought in my mind. You are continually within my view. You are seen, you are known, and you are not forgotten. There are memories from your early years that surface quietly, moments you often classify as insignificant or disconnected from the person you have become. Yet those experiences form the earliest layers of your heart, shaping qualities that continue to influence you today. The curiosities you had as a child, the questions you asked, the things that captured your imagination, all of these were clues to the purpose woven into your spirit. Even the small joys that once filled your days played a role in grounding you emotionally, giving you the capacity to experience wonder, connection, and hope. Nothing from your childhood unfolded without shaping part of who you are now. The moments that seemed simple were preparing you for the complexities you would face later. You may look back on certain experiences with confusion, wondering why you encountered challenges so early in life. Some of those challenges felt unfair, heavy, or out of your control. Yet they produced resilience within you that grew quietly over time. You learned how to navigate uncertainty, confront fear, and adapt to unexpected change long before adulthood demanded it from you. These skills were not born from ease but from the weight you carried when you didn't yet understand why life felt difficult. Those early struggles did not break your spirit. They refined it. They shaped your ability to empathize with others, recognize pain in different forms, and offer comfort where others may not sense a need. Even the environment you grew up in, whether nurturing, turbulent, or somewhere between, played a significant role in shaping your identity. You gained insight from the examples around you, learning what to embrace and what to do differently. Certain people influenced you deeply, leaving impressions that continue to guide your decisions. Others taught you through contrast, showing you the type of heart you do not want to have. Everything contributed to your foundation, forming a unique blend of wisdom, strength, and emotional depth that could not have developed in any other environment. Your story, with all its complexities, prepared you for who you are becoming. Many of your adult strengths began forming in childhood long before you recognized their value. You learned how to interpret emotions, how to observe details others missed, and how to persevere through circumstances that felt larger than your young heart could hold. These early experiences forged aspects of your character that now play a critical role in your relationships, decisions, and purpose. Your childhood was not random. It was the beginning of a journey designed with intention, layering your identity with qualities essential to the calling unfolding within you. The challenges that entered your life when you were still young may have felt overwhelming. You encountered situations that forced you to grow faster than you expected, and some of these moments left marks on your heart. Yet none of those battles were wasted. They cultivated a strength within you that continues to guide you through seasons of difficulty. When you endured hardship during your early years, your inner foundation was being fortified for the road ahead. You learned how to rise after disappointment, how to adapt when the world shifted unexpectedly, and how to survive moments that could have weakened your spirit. These lessons became part of you long before you recognized their purpose. There were times when you questioned why you had to face challenges others seemed to avoid. It felt as though your path held obstacles that weighed more heavily on your shoulders than on those around you. Yet these early battles shaped the endurance necessary for your calling. You developed the capacity to navigate difficult emotions, confront adversity with courage, and remain steadfast even when fear whispered uncertainty. These abilities did not appear overnight. They formed slowly through experiences that tested your spirit. Although painful, these moments became stepping stones toward the purpose unfolding in your life. They taught you how to recognize your own strength and how to access it when life demands more of you. As you continue moving forward, you will notice how often these early lessons emerge in moments of responsibility, leadership, or emotional depth. You are able to offer wisdom that comes not from theory but from lived experience. You can comfort others because you understand what heaviness feels like. You can persevere because you have already walked through seasons that required more courage than you believe you possessed. Your resilience did not form in ease. It was forged in pressure. That resilience is now one of your greatest assets, allowing you to carry the weight of your calling with steadiness and humility. Your early battles did not diminish your potential. They strengthened the parts of you that would one day carry influence, compassion, and purpose. You may still feel the echoes of some wounds, but those scars serve as reminders of how far you have come. They reveal not weakness but evidence of survival. These battles prepared you for responsibilities you are now stepping into, equipping you with insight that cannot be taught through comfort alone. You endured what you did so you could become who you are now, stronger, wiser, and more grounded in your identity. The strength you carry today is a direct result of the resilience shaped through those early challenges. There were seasons when pain pressed so heavily against your heart that you wondered whether you would ever feel whole again, moments when the weight of your circumstances made you question your strength, your purpose, and even your future. Yet the pain you carried was never allowed to enter your life as a weapon meant to tear you apart. Its presence was permitted only because it would shape something within you that comfort alone could never produce. You walked through heartbreaks, losses, disappointments, and betrayals that altered the landscape of your inner world. These experiences were not punishments, they were catalysts for growth. Each moment of ache expanded your capacity to love, to understand, and to discern. Pain refined your character, deepened your compassion, and awakened dimensions of wisdom that would have remained dormant in ease. You matured not despite your wounds, but through them. Even when you resented the suffering or questioned why it had found you, something in your spirit was being strengthened in ways you could not yet see. There were times when your pain blurred your vision, making it difficult to see anything beyond what hurt you. Even then, I remained close, guiding you through darkness that felt endless. The heaviness you endured taught you how to lean on strength that did not come from your own ability. You discovered resilience buried beneath the surface of your fear. You learned how to breathe through moments that seemed unbearable. These lessons were not forced upon you to break you. They unfolded to elevate you. Pain matures the soul because it confronts illusions and reveals truth. Truth about who you are, what you value, and what you are capable of enduring. You became more patient, more discerning, more compassionate, and more grounded because of the seasons when life felt sharp and unkind. As you look back, you can see how certain wounds shifted your path toward healthier choices. Even the moments that felt like collapse were beginnings of transformation. Pain redirected you away from relationships and environments that could not sustain your destiny. It peeled away illusions you would have remained tied to, They opened space within you for deeper healing, greater authenticity, and a clearer sense of purpose. These shifts were not random. They were part of the maturing process shaping your identity. Pain carved out room for strength you now rely on, for clarity you now carry, and for depth that impacts everyone connected to your life. You did not come out of those painful seasons empty-handed. You emerged with insight, endurance, and depth that now serve your calling. Nothing you suffered was wasted. Nothing was allowed to destroy you. The pain that once felt unbearable became the very ground where strength, wisdom, and maturity took root. You carry a depth now that could only come through experience, and that depth will continue to guide you into the future prepared for you long before the pain ever arrived. Certain moments in your life carried emotion so overwhelming that tears became your only language. These tears flowed from places within you that words could not reach, carrying the weight of disappointment, exhaustion, loss, or longing. Although you may have seen them as signs of weakness or defeat, none of your tears fell without purpose. Each one held meaning, releasing pain that would have harmed you had it remained buried. Your tears softened the soil of your inner world, making room for growth, healing, and transformation. What you wept over was not wasted. These tears watered the very seeds of destiny planted within you long ago, nurturing qualities such as patience, compassion, humility, and strength that continue to shape who you are becoming. There were nights when tears fell silently in darkened rooms where you thought no one understood what you carried. In those moments, you assumed you were breaking. Yet beneath the surface, something in you was being nourished. Tears have a way of cleansing what the heart cannot hold any longer. They free the soul from burdens that words fail to release. Through your tears, you let go of what was no longer meant to remain within you. Each tear created space for newness, allowing healing and clarity to take root. These hidden moments of vulnerability were sacred, even if they felt lonely or heavy. They marked turning points in your journey, shaping the person you would one day become. Your tears also softened your heart toward others. They taught you what grief feels like from the inside, enabling you to comfort people walking through their own storms. Compassion deepened in you because you understood suffering personally. Your empathy became richer because you recognized the language of pain. These qualities were not developed through comfort. They were nurtured through moments that stretched you beyond what you believed you could endure. Your destiny requires not only strength but tenderness. Tears helped cultivate the tenderness within you, giving you the capacity to connect with others authentically. There are aspects of your calling that demand emotional depth, and your tears made that depth possible. They prepared your heart for the people you will influence, the relationships you will nurture, and the purpose you will fulfill. Nothing you cried over was meaningless, even if it felt pointless at the time. Your tears marked seeds of transformation taking root, seeds that will continue to bear fruit in your future. Every tear watered something within you, nourishing your destiny in ways you are just beginning to understand. What once felt like breaking was actually the beginning of becoming. There were stretches of your life when loneliness settled around you like a quiet fog, creating distance between you and the familiar connections that once brought comfort. These seasons felt unsettling because they stripped away distractions, noise, and the constant presence of others. In those moments, you wondered why companionship withdrew or why certain relationships faded unexpectedly. Loneliness can feel like abandonment, yet it often emerges when your spirit is shifting into a deeper stage of growth. These quiet seasons were not punishments or signs that something was wrong with you. They were invitations, gentle openings where my voice could reach you more clearly. When everything else quiets, the soul becomes more receptive. The silence creates space for truth that cannot be heard in the crowd. During these lonely seasons, you learn things about yourself that would have remained hidden in busier times. You discovered your own thoughts more clearly, recognized patterns that needed adjusting, and confronted emotions long overlooked. Loneliness pushed you inward, guiding you to areas within yourself that required healing or acknowledgement. While the absence of others felt heavy, it opened a path toward a deeper connection with your own heart and with me. These moments allowed you to recognize my presence not through external signs but through an inner knowing that does not depend on circumstances. You began to sense me in ways that transcended noise, routine, or familiarity. In silence, your spirit learned how to listen. Not every relationship around you could transition with you into the next stage of your growth. Some connections served their purpose in earlier seasons, but your next steps required clarity and focus. Loneliness created a separation between you and influences that would have diluted your awareness of your purpose. It removed voices that clouded your judgment or echoed confusion. This separation was not meant to isolate you forever. It was meant to deepen your discernment so you could recognize the relationships meant to accompany your future. Your heart was being prepared for alignment, reshaped so it could welcome healthier, more purposeful connections when the time was right. As you reflect on those solitary seasons, you may notice how much clarity came from them. What once felt like emptiness became an environment for transformation. You developed inner strength, emotional stability, and spiritual sensitivity. Loneliness taught you how to stand without leaning on others for validation. It taught you how to trust the quiet prompting within you. These seasons were sacred, even if they felt uncomfortable. They allowed you to hear me without interference, to recognize my guidance without confusion, and to strengthen your identity without external influence. You were never alone in those seasons, even when you felt isolated. They were designed to draw you closer to my voice so you would recognize it with confidence in every season ahead. There were moments when opportunity slipped from your hands so abruptly that you wondered whether something within you had failed. Certain paths you hoped to walk down ended before you could even take a full step, and doors you believed were meant for you shut firmly in your face. These experiences stirred confusion and disappointment, leading you to question whether you were being overlooked or pushed aside. Yet none of those closures reflected rejection. They were acts of protection guarding you from situations that would have hindered your growth, drained your spirit, or delayed your purpose. I saw the full landscape of what lay ahead while you only had glimpses shaped by desire and limited perspective. Some places you longed to enter held dynamics that would have weakened your identity. Some relationships you wanted to preserve would have taken more from you than they gave. The closed doors were not punishments, they were shields. There were opportunities that shimmered, with promise on the surface, but carried burdens beneath that you could not yet detect. You may have felt ready for them, but readiness does not always equal alignment. Certain environments would have stifled your creativity, suppressed your voice, or pulled you into patterns that contradicted what I was forming within you. I closed those doors because your spirit needed room to expand, not shrink. You did not lose something valuable. You were spared something harmful. Even the timing of closed doors carried purpose. Some doors were not wrong, but the moment was. Had they opened prematurely, you would have walked into spaces without the strength, clarity, or support needed to thrive. Those closures protected you from re-entering cycles you had already outgrown or seasons meant to be left behind. As time passed, you began to see glimpses of why certain doors remained shut. When clarity emerged, it softened the pain of those disappointments and revealed the wisdom behind the redirection. You realized that some losses spared you from years of struggle. You understood that certain relationships fading prevented deeper wounds. You found paths better suited for your identity, opportunities more aligned with your purpose, and connections that nourished your spirit rather than draining it. This understanding did not erase the initial sting. but it revealed that what felt like rejection was actually the hand of protection shielding you with precision. Every closed door created space for better alignment. Each one redirected your footsteps toward what was meant for you. I guided you through those seasons because I understood the destination you could not yet envision. Soon, you will see even more clearly why certain doors needed to remain shut. You were never rejected. You were protected, preserved, and positioned for a path far greater than what those doors could have offered. The endings you walked through in relationships, whether gradual separation, unexpected conflict, or painful distance, often left you questioning your worth or wondering whether you had failed someone you cared about. You carried the weight of memories, the ache of unspoken words, and the confusion of sudden disconnection. Yet every ending played a role in shaping the relationships you were meant to carry into the next chapter of your life. Not every person who enters your story is meant to remain for its entirety. Some individuals serve essential roles during specific seasons, helping you grow, learn, or heal. Once their part concludes, their departure creates space for the people who align with your long-term purpose, not just your temporary comfort. There were relationships that felt foundational, ones you believed would last forever. Losing them felt like losing parts of yourself. Yet these connections carried lessons that strengthen you internally. They revealed what you need in companionship, what your heart responds to, and what you should no longer accept. These moments of separation exposed imbalances, patterns, or emotional burdens that needed to be addressed. Through these endings, you discovered boundaries you had previously ignored. You recognized the importance of reciprocity, honesty, and emotional safety. These insights shaped your capacity to connect deeply with those who will stand beside you later in your journey. Some relationships ended because you outgrew versions of yourself that those individuals were attached to. Your evolution created distance, not because of conflict, but because your spirit no longer resonated with who you once were. This shift is not a betrayal. It is a sign of alignment. As you step into greater clarity, your circle naturally adjusts. Those who cannot recognize or honor your growth cannot accompany you into your calling. Your departure is not a loss, but a necessary transition. It makes room for people who see your value clearly, who support your purpose wholeheartedly, and who do not fear the depth or calling you carry. Soon, you will notice connections forming that feel grounded, uplifting, and purposeful in ways you have long desired. These relationships will challenge you in healthy ways, encourage your potential, and move in harmony with the calling on your life. They will not fear your strength nor be intimidated by your growth. They will walk with you, not because they need something from you, but because they recognize the mutual alignment in your journeys. The endings you mourned were preparing you for these connections. Nothing was taken from you without something greater being prepared. Every relational shift served the unfolding of your purpose. There were times when opportunities slipped through your fingers just when you believed they were meant for you. These disappointments created a heaviness in your heart, leaving you confused about why things did not unfold the way you hoped. You questioned whether you misheard your own instincts or misunderstood the direction of your life. Yet every disappointment carried a hidden preparation. What felt like a setback was often the clearing of a path that needed to be free for something better to enter. These moments were not dead ends. They were transitions. They positioned you for encounters, opportunities, and breakthroughs that required the space created by what did not work out. Some of the things you pursued with great anticipation were not aligned with the future I was building for you. Had they succeeded, they would have anchored you in places that could not sustain your purpose long term. Disappointment often feels like loss, yet it is sometimes the only way to prevent you from settling in environments beneath your calling. When something did not unfold the way you envisioned, it redirected your momentum toward what you did not yet expect. You discovered new interests, explored new opportunities, or deepened your resilience because of these very disappointments. They shaped your character, strengthened your discernment, and clarified your priorities. Every disappointment carved space in your life for divine appointments, moments that carry significance beyond coincidence. These encounters emerge at the exact time you are ready for them, not a moment earlier. Some involve meeting people who become pivotal in your journey. Others revolve around stepping into opportunities that align perfectly with your gifts. These appointments unfold smoothly, not because they are easy, but because they are meant for you. They create momentum, direction, and clarity. They connect you with environments where your purpose is not only welcomed but needed. When the right moment arrives, you will recognize how the disappointments made these appointments possible. The disappointments you faced were not indicators of failure. They were indicators of divine orchestration. They protected you from paths that would limit your potential and guided you into alignment with something greater. Soon, you will look back and see how the timing, the redirections, and the closures all contributed to the opening of doors that fit your life in ways you could not have anticipated earlier. The disappointments were not the end. They were the beginning of appointments arranged with intention. There were seasons when progress felt painfully slow, when each day carried the weight of waiting for something you believed should have unfolded already. You wondered why others seemed to move forward effortlessly while you faced stalled plans, unanswered prayers, and opportunities that never seemed to materialize. These delays often stirred frustration inside you, making you question your worth, your potential, and even the direction of your life. Yet the timing that felt stagnant was never a sign of abandonment. It was a crafted period of preparation designed to strengthen the parts of you that needed stability before stepping into the next level of your calling. Delay has a way of revealing what you are truly anchored in. It exposes fears that must be addressed, deepens qualities that must be developed, and positions you for opportunities that require more maturity and clarity than you had at the time. The moments when you felt stuck were actually seasons of intentional formation, shaping the version of you needed for what was ahead. During this waiting, aspects of your character were being refined in ways you did not immediately recognize. The patience you resisted learning became a source of emotional steadiness. The discipline that felt burdensome turned into a strength you would rely on later. The stillness you did not want revealed perspectives that rushed activity could never uncover. These quiet seasons taught you how to discern what truly matters, how to differentiate impulses from purpose, and how to navigate life with greater wisdom. Without this preparation, you would have entered future opportunities prematurely, carrying unresolved issues or insecurities that might have undermined your progress. Preparation disguised as delay gave you space to heal from past wounds and realign your priorities. It shifted your mindset from striving and comparing to trusting and growing. The delay also protected what was meant for you. There were opportunities that needed time to ripen, people who were not yet in place, and circumstances that had to shift before the path became clear. You were being aligned with moments that required not only your readiness, but the readiness of others involved. Because purpose unfolds through interconnected lives, timing must align for all participants. While you waited, I was orchestrating things you could not see, arranging details that would eventually form a seamless path. Had you moved earlier, you would have walked into incomplete environments, facing complications that would have drained you unnecessarily. The delay was not withholding, it was ensuring that what awaited you would meet you at its best. Over time, you will come to see how essential these waiting seasons were. What felt like stagnation was actually the groundwork for stability. What appeared to be silence was rich with preparation. The delay that frustrated you was shaping something invaluable within you, equipping you with strength, truth, and discernment that will anchor you when the doors finally open. When you step forward, You will not walk timidly, but with a grounded confidence formed through preparation disguised as delay. There have been moments when you looked back at parts of your story and struggled to understand why certain events happened at all. Some chapters felt fragmented, filled with choices you regret, opportunities that slipped away, or experiences that left you hurt and confused. You wondered if you had wandered off the path entirely, or if your decisions had derailed the purpose meant for your life. Yet nothing in your journey has been wasted. Every season, whether peaceful or painful, has contributed something vital to the unfolding story of who you are becoming. Purpose often forms quietly behind the scenes, working through events that seem irrelevant or even detrimental at first glance. You may not see the threads connecting those experiences yet, but they will reveal themselves in time, showing how intricately your story has been woven together. Even the moments when you felt lost or directionless contributed to your growth. They heightened your awareness of what was missing and deepened your hunger for clarity. They taught you to distinguish between temporary satisfaction and genuine fulfillment. These wandering seasons cultivated humility, empathy, and the courage to start again. Nothing about these chapters disqualified you. Instead, they taught you resilience and honesty with yourself. They exposed patterns that needed to change and inspired you to pursue healing in areas you had long neglected. Growth often emerges through uncomfortable transitions rather than effortless success. The experiences that brought you joy were equally purposeful, shaping your sense of identity and revealing glimpses of what your heart was created to embrace. Moments of laughter, connection, creativity, and inspiration were not just memories. They became anchors within your spirit. They reminded you of your capacity to feel deeply, love fully, and dream boldly. These moments taught you what aligns with your truth and what lights your path. They became landmarks guiding you back to yourself whenever life grew confusing. There were also chapters you assumed were irrelevant, times when life felt ordinary or uneventful. Yet these seasons stabilized you, grounding your life in small daily rhythms that prepared you for greater responsibility ahead. Purpose does not only grow in intensity, it grows in consistency. What you learned about discipline, reliability, kindness, and patience in those quieter moments continues to influence the way you approach opportunities now. They formed a foundation strong enough to support the weight of the dreams you carry. Even the pain you endured carried purpose. It sharpened your awareness, wakened compassion, and strengthened your resolve. Pain has a way of revealing what truly matters and stripping away what does not. Every wound you healed from equipped you with understanding that will help you guide others one day. The scars you carry represent victories, not failures. With each passing season, you will begin to recognize the significance in the details you once overlooked. Nothing was wasted. Every chapter carried meaning, forming a story far more intentional and beautiful than you imagined. Purpose has been unfolding behind the scenes long before you could see it with clarity, and it continues to unfold even now. There were times in your life when you drifted away from the direction your spirit longed for, seasons when distractions, pain, or confusion pulled your focus toward paths that led you further from your center. You may remember choices you made out of fear, loneliness, or impulse, choices that left you wondering how far you had wandered from the person you wanted to be. Yet even in those moments, I did not withdraw from you. My presence remained near, steady and patient, guiding you quietly without imposing force. I honored your freedom to choose your path while continually offering gentle nudges toward places of healing, clarity, and truth. When you strayed, I did not condemn you. I understood the pain beneath your actions and the longing hidden beneath the surface of your decisions. You have walked through seasons where you convinced yourself that you had gone too far, made too many mistakes, or damaged your own future. These thoughts weighed heavily, shaping your belief that reconciliation with your purpose was impossible. Yet purpose cannot be erased by detours. Your missteps did not surprise me. They revealed areas within you that needed restoration and understanding. Even as you moved in directions that distanced you from what felt right, I guarded your spirit and protected aspects of your destiny from being destroyed. There were situations you walked away from unharmed, not because you saw danger, but because I intervened quietly. My nearness did not depend on your awareness of it. I remained present even when you were focused on other things. As you moved through these wandering seasons, you encountered moments that stirred your conscience or awakened an inner recognition that something deeper was calling you. These subtle moments were not coincidences. They were gentle reminders of the truth within you. I did not drag you back or demand perfection. Instead, I guided your heart through whispers, impressions, and unexpected clarity. You felt these nudges when a certain conversation resonated deeply, when a moment of silence brought unexpected insight, or when exhaustion made you reconsider the direction of your life. These small shifts guided you back piece by piece, allowing you to rediscover the identity you thought you lost. You returned not because of force, but because something inside you recognized you were made for more than the places you strayed into. The strength to come back was not born from shame but from awakening. I remained near throughout the entire process, steady and unchanging. Nothing you did pushed me away. Nothing you believed disqualified you. Nothing you lost prevented restoration. Your journey forward is not hindered by where you have been. Every path, even the wandering ones, has contributed to your understanding, empathy, and wisdom. You are not defined by your detours. You are shaped by your return, strengthened by grace, and guided by a presence that never left your side, even when you felt far away. There were points in your journey when the pressure became so intense that you questioned whether your heart, mind, or spirit could withstand it. You faced situations that threatened to fracture your sense of identity, moments when emotional weight pressed against you with such force that you wondered how you would ever rise again. Yet something within you kept pushing forward, even when every part of you felt fragile. That something was not coincidence, not luck, and not a temporary surge of inner strength disconnected from anything greater. It was my hand steadying you when your grip on hope loosened. You survived experiences that would have crushed you if you were walking alone, and although you may not have recognized my presence in the moment, I was there, protecting, sustaining, and carrying you when your own strength reached its limit. There were emotional storms that felt relentless, seasons where grief or confusion flooded your mind, threatening to drown the parts of you that still believed in purpose. During those moments, you felt the edge of breaking, but you did not fall over it. Something unseen held you upright. Even when you collapsed in exhaustion or felt the weight of despair, the core of your spirit remained unshattered. You endured heartbreaks that once seemed impossible to recover from, yet your heart continued to heal in ways you never expected. The aftermath became a testament to the resilience shaped within you and the protection surrounding you. Surviving these moments didn't simply prove your strength, they revealed my involvement in every hidden detail. There were challenges that attacked areas of your identity, your confidence, self-worth, sense of belonging, and emotional security. These moments were designed to dismantle your belief in yourself, yet they failed. You emerged with a deeper awareness of your value, even if the lessons unfolded slowly. When you look back, you can see how certain events should have left lasting damage. The fact that you grew through them, instead of staying crushed beneath them, reveals how intricately I intervened. Not all protection looks like prevention. Sometimes protection looks like survival, coming out of situations with lessons instead of ruins, scars instead of open wounds, wisdom instead of bitterness. You may not always understand why you had to endure such intensity, But those seasons produced qualities within you that no easy path could have cultivated. You gained clarity, discernment, and a depth of compassion that influences how you move through the world. These inner qualities became spiritual armor, shaping the way you navigate your calling. You did not just survive, you transformed. And every transformation points to the evidence of my hand shielding you when you were unaware a shield was even needed. The moments that should have broken you became markers of your endurance and my faithfulness. They serve as reminders that even in the seasons where you felt weakest, you were never unprotected. Your survival carries purpose, and the strength you now possess bears the fingerprints of grace woven through every step of your journey. There were moments when you moved through life unaware of how close you were to decisions, environments, or relationships that could have caused deep harm. You often assume danger is loud and obvious, yet some of the greatest threats arrive in quiet forms, subtle influences, draining connections, opportunities that appear beneficial but carry hidden consequences. Throughout your life, you encountered crossroads that seemed harmless at first glance but held potential to derail your purpose. Without realizing it, you were being lifted, redirected, or shielded from paths that would have damaged your spirit or delayed your growth. This unseen protection wasn't the result of your awareness. It was the result of my vigilance. You may remember times when plans suddenly fell apart, leaving you confused or frustrated. Yet some of those interruptions were moments when danger was quietly unfolding beyond your view. A closed door protected you from entering a space where your heart would have been mishandled. A sudden change of circumstances kept you from aligning with people who would have drained your identity. Even passing feelings of discomfort, the ones you brushed aside, were warnings stirring in your spirit. These internal nudges were not random, they were guidance. I carried you through these unseen threats by steering you away from harm, in ways that felt subtle but were profoundly intentional. There were seasons where you sensed heaviness without understanding why. You walked through environments that did not resonate with your spirit, and though you felt unsettled, you couldn't articulate the reason. The discomfort was a form of protection, prompting you to step back or walk away before deeper entanglements formed. You may have attributed these shifts to intuition, coincidence, or simply changing seasons, but my hand was guiding each movement. Every time your spirit felt misaligned, you were being invited to recognize subtle danger and make choices that preserved your well-being. You were carried through experiences that could have wounded you if you stayed too long or gave too much. There were also literal dangers, accidents avoided, sudden changes in schedule, or moments when something told you to pause instead of proceed. These were not random instincts. These were interventions. You walked through situations where harm waited one step away, yet something shifted the path beneath your feet. These unnoticed rescues were as significant as the visible ones. Protection often goes unseen because its purpose is to prevent damage altogether, not simply recover from it. You have been carried through seasons where emotional or spiritual danger surrounded you without your awareness. The fact that you remain intact, grounded, and continually growing is evidence of how often you were lifted out of harm before you recognized the threat. You are here not because danger never approached, but because you were carried through it with a care that never ceases. Grace guarded your steps long before you knew where those steps were leading. There were battles you faced long before you understood your own identity, spiritual, emotional, and relational attacks that made you question your worth or feel out of place. You experienced pressures that seemed disproportionate to your age, your awareness, or your understanding. These struggles were not signs of weakness. They were evidence of the greatness placed within you. Your potential was visible to the forces that oppose purpose long before it became visible to you. The enemy does not waste resources on lives without calling, nor does he attack where there is nothing to threaten. You were targeted early because you carry influence, strength, and destiny that extend far beyond your view of yourself. The gifts within you posed a threat long before you learned how to use them. You may recall early experiences that felt confusing, moments where you carried heaviness, fear, or insecurity that didn't match your environment. These early battles were attempts to distort your identity before you could recognize its value. When purpose is great, the earliest years become battlegrounds of the mind and heart. Yet every attempt to diminish you failed. You grew through adversity, discovered resilience, and developed sensitivity that later became discernment. The pressure placed on you in childhood or adolescence shaped the emotional intelligence and spiritual depth you carry today. These qualities did not form easily, but they emerged because the opposition you faced tried to silence what I placed within you. Instead of crushing you, these battles awakened inner fortitude. You also experienced cycles of doubt or discouragement that resurfaced throughout your life, often appearing during seasons of growth. These patterns were not random. They were targeted distractions designed to weaken your confidence or convince you to retreat from opportunities. Yet each time you overcame these internal battles, your strength increased. The enemy's attempts became platforms for your spiritual maturity. Through these moments, you learned how to identify truth from deception, how to stand firm when insecurity whispered, and how to trust your calling even when you felt unprepared. The attacks you faced were never proof that something was wrong with you. They were confirmation that something powerful was placed within you. Destiny attracts resistance, yet destiny also awakens protection. Even when the enemy targeted you, he could not destroy the core of who you are. Your spirit was fortified with qualities he could not dismantle: resilience, compassion, wisdom, and perseverance. You stand today not as someone defeated by early battles, but as someone strengthened because of them. Your calling carries weight. Your presence influences atmospheres. Your voice holds power. And everything that tried to silence you early on only served to reveal how significant your purpose truly is. You are stepping into the fullness of what was placed inside you long before the battles began. There were seasons when the weight of what you faced felt disproportionate to your strength, moments when circumstances pressed so heavily on your heart that you wondered why your journey seemed more difficult than others. You looked at the complexity of your struggles and asked if something about you attracted hardship, as if you were marked by difficulty rather than purpose. Yet the very intensity of these battles holds a revelation you often overlook. The scale of what opposes you mirrors the scale of what you are called to accomplish. The pressure you've endured is not evidence of weakness. It is a reflection of the impact your life is destined to make. When you carry an assignment that will influence others, shift environments, or break cycles, resistance rises early and forcefully in an attempt to discourage you before you recognize your own power. There were situations that demanded emotional, spiritual, and mental strength you didn't know you had. These experiences were not punishments. They were indicators of the significance within you. Purpose, when carried correctly, attracts opposition because it alters the atmosphere of everything it touches. You may have questioned why certain hardships appeared repeatedly, or why patterns you desperately wanted to escape resurfaced throughout your life. These pressures pushed against you not because you lacked value, but because you possess the kind of identity that threatens anything built on fear, confusion, or brokenness. Your battles intensified at specific moments because they align with seasons of growth or breakthrough. Instead of being signs of misalignment, they were confirmations that you were crossing thresholds your spirit was meant to enter. The weight of your battles taught you how to endure, how to listen inwardly, and how to draw from strength beyond your own understanding. This endurance shaped your heart to carry influence responsibly. People with small assignments face small challenges. People with significant purpose walk through experiences that expand their capacity. The situations that stretched you forced you to develop deeper resilience, sharper discernment, and stronger conviction. These qualities are essential for the role you are stepping into, and they could only be shaped through the intensity you endured. Every season of battle refined your instincts and strengthened your awareness of who you are and what you carry. When you look back, you will realize that the battles you survived were not random attacks. They were spiritual and emotional confirmations that something valuable was placed within you. The depth of your calling required pressure, not to break you, but to prepare you. You are not fragile or easily swayed. The intensity of what you faced was a mirror of the magnitude of your future. You carry more than you realize, and the battles that tried to stop you revealed just how much you are destined to build, change, and influence in the world around you. There have been dreams and desires in your heart that stayed with you long after you tried to dismiss them, dreams that resurfaced when you thought you had outgrown them or when life convinced you they were unrealistic. These longings were not random daydreams or passing impulses. They were glimpses into what was written for you before you were formed. Every dream that clings to your spirit with a quiet persistence carries meaning. These inner visions come from a place beyond your environment, your upbringing, or your imagination. They rise from a deeper dialogue between your soul and the purpose designed for your life. When something within you refuses to let go of a dream, that is often a sign that it was placed there intentionally. Many times, you question whether your desires were selfish or misplaced. You wondered whether you should settle for something smaller or safer. Yet these dreams were not meant to be ignored. They were given to you to guide your path, to stir your passion, and to awaken the potential that lies inside you. Even when you lack the resources, knowledge, or support to pursue them, the dreams remained because they were anchored in something eternal. They did not originate from what you saw around you. They originated from what was placed within you before your life began. This is why certain desires feel deeply personal, almost sacred, as if they belong to a part of you that has existed far longer than your present circumstances. Some of your dreams may have frightened you because they seem too large for your current capacity. Their size is meant to stretch your belief, not overwhelm you. They are invitations to grow, to trust, and to step into alignment with a life that reflects your true identity. These dreams are not merely goals. They are compasses pointing you toward a future designed with intention. They guide your steps even when you don't realize it. You feel drawn to certain paths, opportunities, or ideas because they resonate with what was planted in you. They stir something inside your spirit that recognizes destiny even before your mind fully understands it. Over time, your dreams evolve as you evolve. Some shift in expression while maintaining the same core essence. They adjust to meet the maturity, experience, and insight you gain over the years. Yet the central longing remains because it was never random. It was never temporary. The dreams placed in your heart were whispers, echoes of an eternal intention calling you forward. As you grow, you will see how these dreams align with your purpose, relationships, and opportunities. They are not fantasies. They are messages woven into your spirit, guiding you toward the life you were created to live. There are longings within you that refuse to disappear, desires that remain even when you try to silence them, ignore them, or reason your way out of them. These desires feel rooted in something deeper than simple preference. They return during quiet moments, resurfacing when you least expect them, as if reminding you of something essential about your identity. These persistent desires are not burdens or distractions. They are indicators of alignment. They point toward the very purpose for which you were created. What draws your heart with such strength often carries the fingerprints of your design. These desires are internal signals pulling you toward the path that will bring meaning, fulfillment, and impact. At times, You doubted whether these desires were realistic or even appropriate to pursue. You tried to talk yourself out of them, believing they were too ambitious, too inconvenient, or too difficult to attain. Yet despite your doubts, the desires persisted. They remained through seasons of uncertainty and resurfaced after setbacks. This is because they are tied to your purpose in ways you may not yet fully understand. They are not whims, they are expressions of the unique makeup within you. The things you feel drawn to, the causes that stir your heart, the work that energizes you, the ideas that excite your spirit, align with who you were created to become. These desires also act as a compass, guiding you toward environments, relationships, and opportunities that support your growth. They nudge you away from places where you would feel restricted and toward places where your identity can flourish. When you feel restless or dissatisfied, it is often because you are living outside the alignment of these deeper desires. This restlessness is not failure, it is redirection. It reminds you that your spirit was created for something meaningful, something that resonates with who you truly are. The desires you cannot shake reflect this resonance. Throughout your life, you will notice how these desires align with the gifts you carry. They fuel your creativity, inspire your decisions, and shape your vision. They also attract the people and opportunities necessary for your purpose to unfold. Even the desires that seem impossible are connected to a capacity within you that has not fully awakened yet. They pull you toward growth, stretching your imagination, and expanding your belief in what is possible. You were not given these desires by accident. They were placed within you intentionally, serving as internal markers guiding you toward your calling. When you feel drawn toward something with a persistent, quiet certainty, pay attention. These desires are aligned with what you were created to fulfill. They are invitations to step into the life that was designed for you from the beginning. There have been many moments when you looked at your life and felt out of sync with the pace you expected yourself to keep. Moments where it seemed as if others moved forward with ease while you remained stuck in cycles you couldn't fully understand or fully break. You questioned your age, your timing, your progress, and the trajectory of your journey, wondering whether you somehow missed the opportunities meant for you or made too many mistakes to experience the life you once envisioned. Yet I want you to recognize something profoundly true. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lagging in purpose or drifting outside my plan. You are standing precisely where you need to be for the next stage of your unfolding story. The pace of your life hath been shaped with intention, not accident. Every detour you worried had ruined your momentum was recalibrated into alignment. Every delay you feared had derailed you was actually shaping you internally for what is approaching externally. When you look at others and feel that they are somehow farther ahead, you forget that each path carries its own timing, its own structure, and its own curriculum of growth. You have not lost anything essential, and nothing meant for you has passed you by. There were seasons where progress felt invisible because your roots were growing deeper, anchoring you for responsibilities you were not yet ready to carry. Had you advanced sooner, the weight of what awaited you would have crushed you rather than elevated you. Your timing is not measured by comparison, but by purpose, and purpose unfolds on a schedule that differs for every soul. Even the experiences you label as wasted time contributed to your maturity, strengthening qualities that will serve you in your future. What you learned in seasons of what felt like stagnation will become the very tools you use to navigate your calling. You are exactly where you need to be because your heart, your mind, and your spirit have reached a point of readiness that no earlier version of you possessed. You are standing on the threshold of a shift that required your growth, your healing, and your self-awareness to reach this very moment. Nothing about your timeline is accidental. Nothing about your progress is lacking. Everything you have lived through has prepared you with precision. You are not behind. You are prepared. And the next chapter will reveal that your path has been orchestrated with more care and purpose than you ever realized. Deep within you, there is a pull that has followed you through the years, a quiet ache, a subtle yearning, a persistent sense that your life holds a depth you have not yet fully stepped into. This longing is not restlessness caused by dissatisfaction with what you have. It is the whisper of your spirit awakening to who you are becoming. You often interpret this yearning as a sign that you are missing something or failing to live up to your potential. But this inner pull is not rooted in deficiency. It is rooted in calling. It is my voice moving through the deepest parts of your identity, drawing you toward the life you were created to inhabit. You feel this longing during quiet moments, when distractions fade and you sense something greater rising from within. A future that hasn't yet taken shape but somehow feels familiar. It is the part of you that knows you were made for impact, meaning, connection, and transformation. The longing does not accuse you. It invites you. It does not say you are incomplete. It reveals that there is more within you waiting to unfold. Throughout your life, you notice this stirring during seasons of transition, change, or emotional discomfort, and you assumed it meant something was wrong. But the longing is a sign of alignment, not misalignment. It signals that your spirit is preparing for growth that your current circumstances cannot contain. You are being drawn away from complacency and into clarity. This stirring awakens your awareness of your gifts, reveals what environments no longer fit you, and highlights desires that reflect your purpose. You may feel tension between where you are and where you sense you are going, and that tension is sacred. It is transformation in process. This longing teaches you to listen more deeply, to pay attention to what resonates with your spirit. It guides you toward people, opportunities, and environments aligned with your calling. It pushes you to let go of what drains your identity and embrace what nourishes it. The longing you feel is the compass of your destiny, pointing you toward the life prepared for you long before you understood its shape. Do not fear it. Do not resist it. This longing is evidence that your true identity is awakening, calling you forward with a voice only your spirit can fully recognize. You are not chasing something imaginary. You are responding to who you were always meant to become. There has always been a part of you that knew you were meant for more than simply making it through each day, more than repeating the same cycles of effort without meaning, more than pushing your way through life just to stay afloat. Yet survival became familiar to you in certain seasons, times when responsibilities, difficulties, or emotional burdens demanded all your strength and left little room for vision or creativity. In those moments, you learned how to endure, how to stay upright, how to navigate circumstances that felt overwhelming. But endurance is not your purpose. Survival is not your calling. You were created to impact the world around you, not through grand gestures or constant striving, but through the authenticity, depth, and intentionality of who you are. You carry a presence that influences others even when you don't realize it. The way you speak, the way you listen, the compassion you express, the insight you offer, these are not ordinary traits. They are markers of someone designed to shift environments, uplift hearts, and introduce clarity where confusion has taken root. Impact is woven into the fabric of your spirit. It is the reason your heart responds so strongly to injustice, brokenness, or the suffering of others. It is the reason you feel most alive when you are using your gifts, when you are creating, serving, encouraging, or building something meaningful. You are not satisfied with shallow existence because your spirit was not crafted for smallness. You were shaped to influence lives in ways that ripple far beyond your immediate surroundings. But before impact comes, Survival seasons often appear, not as punishment but as training. Those difficult stretches cultivated empathy, resilience, and discernment within you. They taught you how to recognize pain in others, how to guide with humility, and how to anchor yourself when storms rise. These qualities form the foundation of true impact. They shape you into someone who leads from a place of authenticity rather than pride. You were never meant to remain in survival mode. You were meant to grow beyond it. Now, you are stepping into a stage where your impact will become clear. You will find yourself influencing others through your words, your presence, your choices, and your courage. You will see how even small actions create meaningful change. The world around you needs what you carry, and your life is shifting out of survival into purpose. You were not created to merely endure, you were created to transform. There is a reason you have always felt a subtle tension whenever you tried to shrink yourself to fit into places that were never shaped for your spirit. A reason conformity never settled comfortably on you, even when you attempted to silence parts of your identity to maintain peace or avoid being misunderstood. You were not crafted to fade into the background of life, nor to dilute your uniqueness for the sake of acceptance. I designed you with distinctions, subtle ones and bold ones, that set you apart because your purpose requires the kind of presence that cannot be duplicated or replaced. Your thoughts carry a depth that others may not easily grasp. Your sensitivity allows you to perceive truth beneath the surface, and your instincts often guide you before your mind can fully explain why. These qualities set you apart not as a burden, but as evidence of a calling that does not thrive in sameness. There were seasons where you judged yourself harshly for being different, believing something was wrong with the way you processed, felt, reacted, or dreamed. But those very differences reflect intentional design. They are signals of individuality meant to shape the environments you enter, not simply adapt to them. When you suppress your uniqueness to blend in, you quiet the voice I placed in you to bring perspective, clarity, and change. Standing apart does not mean standing alone. It means walking in authenticity rather than imitation. You are not meant to mirror what everyone else does, believes, or chooses. You are meant to bring something new into the spaces you inhabit. New insight, new strength, new tenderness, new courage. This is why you often feel discomfort in places where conformity is valued more than truth. Your soul recognizes when an environment is too small to hold the fullness of who you are. This recognition is not pride, it is alignment. As you grow, you will notice that embracing your uniqueness draws the right people toward you, people who are uplifted by your presence rather than threatened by it. Standing apart positions you for opportunities that require originality, not imitation. It allows you to carry your purpose with clarity and strength. You were called to influence, not to blend. You were shaped to bring light, not to hide it. And as you continue to embrace the identity I gave you, you will find that standing apart is not a burden. It is the pathway into the destiny crafted specifically for you. Everything about you, your perspective, your temperament, your creativity, your sense of humor, your quiet strengths, even the quirks you sometimes hide, forms a blend that has never existed before and will never exist again. You carry a kind of uniqueness that is not random but intentional, a reflection of the purpose that lives within you. You often compare yourself to others, believing their talents, achievements, or personalities hold greater value, but comparison blinds you to the extraordinary imprint I wove into your being. Your uniqueness is not a deviation. It is a signature. That is the imprint of who you are and what you are meant to release into the world. The way you observe people, the way you solve problems, the way you sense what others overlook, these traits form a pattern of influence meant for moments and individuals connected to your calling. You may not always recognize the impact you carry because your influence does not always appear loud or dramatic. Sometimes it emerges through a word spoken at the right moment, an insight shared that shifts someone's thinking, or a quiet strength that stabilizes an atmosphere. Your uniqueness allows you to reach people others cannot reach, to understand situations others cannot interpret, and to offer solutions others cannot perceive. This is not accidental. You were shaped to carry influence that flows naturally from who you are, not from who you try to imitate. Many times you feared that being different made you less valuable or less capable, yet your differences are exactly what make your presence significant. When you embrace them instead of resisting them, your influence expands effortlessly. Your uniqueness becomes a bridge that connects your gifts to the world around you. As you continue growing, you will see how your personality, experiences, and inner design align with assignments that require your specific voice. You will find yourself influencing others simply by being fully present, fully authentic, fully aligned with your true identity. This influence is not forced. It is expressed. It radiates naturally when you stop hiding the parts of yourself that were meant to shine. Your uniqueness is your divine fingerprint. No one else carries it. No one else can replicate it. And no one else can release the influence tied to it. When you embrace what makes you different, you open the door to the fullest expression of the purpose that has always been waiting for you. You may not always understand why your life intersects with certain individuals, why some people gravitate toward you, or why you often find yourself in conversations where others open their hearts in ways they rarely do with anyone else. These interactions are not coincidences. Your presence carries something they need: insight, comfort, encouragement, stability, or a kind of understanding they cannot find elsewhere. There are qualities within you that serve as answers to the unspoken questions others carry. Sometimes your peace becomes their anchor. Sometimes your discernment reveals clarity where confusion once clouded their vision. Sometimes your compassion heals wounds they've hidden for years. I aligned you with specific people not just for companionship, but because your presence activates growth in them. Just as others have played roles in guiding or shaping you, you also carry influence meant to shift the lives of those around you. You may underestimate the power of your presence because you're accustomed to living inside your own strengths and don't always recognize how significant they appear to others. Yet your presence changes atmospheres. You bring a calm that unsettled hearts recognize immediately. You carry wisdom that resonates with people who desperately need direction. You hold experiences that qualify you to understand pain others feel too ashamed to voice. These are not accidental traits. They are assignments. There are individuals connected to your life who are meant to rise because of your influence. Some will find healing through your empathy, courage through your example, or hope through your steadfastness. Even your quiet presence carries weight. Sometimes simply being there gives someone the strength to keep going. And though it may feel like you are the one giving, you are also placed among people who will pour into you in return. Alignment goes both ways. Those I've positioned around you will sharpen you, stretch you, and prepare you for future responsibilities you cannot yet see. They will strengthen qualities in you that require fellowship, challenge, and collaboration. Your relationships are not random. They are strategic. Some will stay for a lifetime. Others will serve their purpose for a season. But each one fits into a larger story, one in which your presence is meant to uplift, guide, heal, and inspire. You were placed among these individuals because your presence carries answers they need, and their presence carries preparation you need. There have been times in your life when you felt as if your words carried little weight, moments when you assumed your ideas were too small, your encouragement too simple, or your insight too ordinary to matter. Yet your voice carries a resonance that reaches further than you realize. Within you is a tone, a cadence, a way of speaking truth and comfort that disarms fear and breathes strength into weary hearts. You may not notice it because it feels natural to you. But what feels natural to you is often supernatural in its impact on others. The reason you often feel compelled to speak life into situations where heaviness hangs in the air is because hope is woven into the fabric of your spirit. When you speak, even casually, you shift emotional atmospheres. Your presence opens the space for someone to breathe again. You have the ability to recognize despair hidden beneath the surface of someone's smile, and without forcing anything, you offer words that remind them they are not alone, that their story is not over, and that there is still a direction forward. This is not a personality trait, it is a calling. I designed your voice to hold a frequency that counters discouragement. There are people in your life who carry unspoken battles, individuals who look strong on the outside yet shake internally beneath the weight of fear or uncertainty. They will cross your path because your voice holds something they have forgotten how to believe for themselves. Whether through a gentle observation, an honest conversation, or a moment of unexpected insight, your words awaken hope within them. You've done this more times than you remember, and often you walk away unaware of the impact you made. Impact does not require recognition, it requires authenticity. This is why I continue placing you in the presence of those who need what your voice carries. You may notice that people open up around you with surprising ease, even those who normally guard their emotions. This happens because your spirit communicates safety, compassion, and clarity long before you speak. And when you finally do speak, your words become a catalyst, sometimes subtle, sometimes sudden, but always meaningful. The hope you carry was not formed through comfort. It was shaped through the very battles you survived. The places where you once struggled to hold on to meaning became the same places where your voice gained its depth. Because you have known discouragement, you can speak to it. Because you have overcome despair, you can dismantle it in others. Your voice carries hope not as a shallow optimism, but as a lived reality, a strength forged through experience. And as you continue growing, your voice will expand in its influence. You will speak into environments where hopelessness once dominated. You will guide others toward truth they have forgotten. You will become a steady presence in moments where everything else feels unstable. Your voice is not small. It is not accidental. It is not insignificant. It is one of the most powerful tools placed within you, and it will continue to echo hope in places that desperately need its sound. There is a tenderness within you that has been shaped through the many experiences, both joyful and painful, that have touched your life. You may not always see this compassion as something extraordinary because it flows through you so naturally, but it is one of the profound gifts embedded in your spirit. Your ability to feel deeply, to notice the subtle shifts in someone's expression, to sense unspoken pain, and to offer comfort without needing to be asked is evidence of a calling that brings healing into the lives of others. Compassion is not weakness, it is strength in its most transformative form. It bridges distances, softens hardened hearts, and opens doors to conversations that would otherwise remain locked. Many people in your path carry burdens they've learned to hide behind strength, humor, or silence, yet your presence has a way of drawing their truth to the surface. They feel seen, understood, and valued in your presence because your compassion speaks in ways words cannot. Throughout your life, you have been drawn to people who struggle, not because you seek out brokenness, but because your spirit recognizes where healing is needed. You have offered kindness even when you yourself were hurting, extended patience when you were stretched thin, and given comfort even in seasons when you longed for it yourself. These moments were not unnoticed. They shaped your heart with a depth that allows you to carry responsibility that not everyone can hold. Compassion requires courage, the courage to feel, to understand, to stay open, and to care deeply even when the world encourages indifference. This courage has grown within you steadily, and now it is becoming one of the most powerful aspects of your purpose. There are hearts in your future that will be restored because of your compassion. Individuals who feel forgotten, unseen, or unworthy will encounter your presence and experience healing simply because you chose to care. Compassion is not about fixing everyone's problems. It is about reminding them that they matter. And when someone feels valued, they gain the strength to rise again. Your compassion carries healing because it reflects truth. The truth that every person carries worth. There is a gentleness in your voice, an empathy in your posture, and a sincerity in your attention that touches places within others that long for connection. You bring assurance to the broken, dignity to the overlooked, and comfort to the weary. Your compassion is not a small gift. It is a divine instrument designed to bring restoration, renewal, and hope to hearts that have forgotten they are still worthy of love. The journey you have lived, with its victories, disappointments, mistakes, breakthroughs, heartbreaks, transitions, and moments of profound clarity, has shaped you into someone uniquely equipped to guide, support, and understand others who are now facing what you have survived. You often wonder why you had to endure certain hardships or why certain seasons felt unusually heavy, but every piece of your story carries significance. The experiences you walked through were not random. They were forming wisdom, empathy, and insight within you that could not be gained any other way. There are people ahead of you who will need the perspective you carry, the emotional clarity you gained, and the understanding you cultivated through your own journey. You will recognize their struggles instinctively, not because you studied them, but because you live in through them. Your past has become a qualification, a compassionate credential earned through authenticity and perseverance. There were times when you felt alone in your struggles, believing no one could possibly understand what you were facing. Yet those very challenges became the foundation for your ability to accompany others without judgment or fear. You can meet people where they are because you remember what it was like to walk those roads. You bring comfort without minimizing their pain, guidance without controlling their path, and hope without offering empty promises. Your story created a bridge that others can walk across, a way for them to find direction because you have already mapped the terrain. Even the mistakes you regret have value now. They taught you lessons that will help you steer others away from pitfalls that once hurt you. Your successes have value as well, demonstrating what is possible when someone chooses healing, alignment, and growth. Every chapter you live, especially the difficult ones, is now becoming a gift. You carry insight that will save others years of confusion. You hold wisdom that will help others make decisions with greater clarity. You offer presence that makes people feel understood instead of judged. This is why your journey mattered. It prepared you for a kind of relational and emotional influence that cannot be taught academically. It must be lived, felt, endured, and transformed. Your experiences forge you into someone who can speak truth gently, who can walk with someone patiently, who can believe in someone fiercely. You are qualified now in ways you once could not see. And as you move forward, you will encounter people whose lives will be changed simply because you once walked the very path they are just beginning to navigate. There are chapters of your life that still feel tender when you think about them, moments where pain left imprints so deep that you wondered whether anything good could ever emerge from those wounds. You endured experiences that seemed senseless at the time, betrayals that shook your trust, losses that shattered your expectations, disappointments that fractured your confidence, and valleys of emotional struggle that felt too heavy to navigate. Yet within those very places of hurt, something began forming in you that could not have grown in seasons of ease. Every wound that once threatened to silence you has become a well of compassion, depth, and understanding that now equips you to walk alongside those whose hearts are breaking in ways you recognize instinctively. There are people in your future who will feel safe revealing their deepest wounds to you because you do not speak to pain from theory. You speak to it from experience. The kind of healing that flows from you will not be shallow encouragement, but embodied truth, forged in the very moments where you had to learn how to stand again. Your scars have become maps that illuminate the way for others who are still lost in the shadows you once survived. There will be individuals who look at you and see strength, but they will not know the battles you fought to gain it. And when they finally open up to you, they will encounter a presence that understands without judgment, supports without pressure, and comforts without minimizing their struggle. This capacity exists within you because your own healing journey forced you to understand your emotions at a deeper level, to confront the lies you carried, to unlearn patterns that once limited you, and to rebuild from what felt broken. These internal shifts did more than restore you. They equipped you. What once felt like a burden has become a bridge. What once felt like a wound has become a doorway. What once felt like an ending has become the very beginning of your ministry to others. The empathy you carry is a divine resource, a gift carved through sorrow that will now become a balm for the wounded. There is nothing wasted in your story, not even the pain you never asked for. I will use the very areas where you once felt weakest to become the places where others find their strength. Your healing will overflow into the lives of people who have forgotten what hope feels like. Your testimony will breathe life into souls convinced nothing can change. You do not need to force this impact. It will happen naturally through your authenticity, your vulnerability, and your willingness to return to spaces you once avoided, now transform. You will become living proof that pain does not have the final word. Healing does. Redemption does. Purpose does. And the beauty that rises from your journey will become the healing others never believed possible until they encounter it through you. There are pages of your past that you used to wish you could tear out, memories you wanted to forget because they carried embarrassment, heartbreak, confusion, or moments where you felt lost in ways you never voiced aloud. Yet those very pages, those raw, unfiltered moments of struggle, will become the chapters others cling to when their world feels like it's collapsing. The story you lived through, with all its twists, disappointments, breakthroughs, and unexpected turns, will one day offer guidance to someone standing exactly where you once stood. They will listen to you not because you speak eloquently or because you carry titles, but because your story mirrors theirs. Your honesty will give them permission to breathe, and your journey will give them direction when they feel paralyzed by fear or uncertainty. You may not fully grasp the significance of your story yet, but it carries wisdom born from survival, wisdom that can shine a light for someone walking through darkness that once swallowed you. There will come a time when you look into someone's eyes and instantly recognize the pain behind them. You will know exactly what to say because you once needed the very words you now carry. Your story contains answers to questions they have not yet figured out how to articulate. It holds encouragement that will keep them going when giving up seems easier. You will see them wrestling with the same doubts, insecurities, and emotional storms that once pushed you to your limits, and in that moment, you will understand why you had to go through what you did. Your story is not a collection of random events. It is a roadmap, one someone else desperately needs. There are people who will find courage because you overcame what tried to destroy you. They will find clarity because you share what you learned in the midst of your confusion. They will find strength because your transparency breaks the illusion that they are alone in their suffering. Even the parts of your story you still struggle to talk about hold transformative power. They carry insight that will help others see beyond the pain and recognize the possibility of redemption. Your survival is not just a personal victory, it is a generational gift. It creates ripple effects in the lives of people you will impact in ways you could never fully measure. And as your story continues to unfold, You will notice moments where someone's breakthrough comes directly from your willingness to be honest about your past. Your story becomes their survival guide, not through perfection, but through authenticity. Not through triumph alone, but through the courage to rise after falling. And in witnessing others find life through the very path that once felt impossible to walk, you will discover that your story was never meant to stay with you alone. It was meant to live, breathe, and save through you. There is a weight on your life that you have felt since long before you understood what it meant. You have always sensed something different about yourself, an inner stirring, a depth, a sense of calling that tugged at your spirit even when you didn't know where it was leading. This anointing was not placed upon you to make your life easier or more predictable. It was placed upon you to empower you for assignments that require courage, compassion, discernment, and resilience. Anointing is not about ease, it is about capacity. It expands your ability to influence, to endure, to speak with authority, and to navigate spiritual and emotional terrain that others might avoid. It equips you to walk into places where healing is needed, where clarity is lacking, where hearts are broken, and where truth is buried beneath layers of fear or confusion. And even when you don't feel powerful or prepared, the anointing within you still makes a difference. Much of the pressure you've faced in life has been connected to the weight of this calling. You have felt resistance not because you are weak, but because your presence disrupts what darkness tries to maintain. You have felt emotional heaviness at times because your spirit carries spiritual sensitivity. You have felt misunderstood because what rests on your life is not something everyone can perceive. But none of this means your anointing is a burden. In reality, it is the very thing that will guide you into your greatest impact. It unlocks doors you could never open by yourself, connects you with people you were divinely aligned to influence, and gives you strength in moments where your natural ability is insufficient. Your anointing sharpens your vision, heightens your awareness, and deepens your compassion. It is the reason you can sense when something is wrong without being told. It is the reason certain environments drain you and others ignite you. It is the reason your presence brings peace where there was unrest. You were not chosen so you could live comfortably. You were chosen so you could live meaningfully. The anointing on your life shapes your purpose, guides your decisions, and strengthens your identity. You may not always see the full picture, but step by step, you will witness how everything aligns. The calling on you carries weight because the impact flowing from you carries power. Your life is meant to shift atmospheres, restore hearts, waken hope, and carry truth into places where truth has been forgotten. And as you grow more confident in this anointing, more aware of what it carries and more willing to walk in it, you will see that purpose has always been greater than comfort. And you were always meant for something far bigger than what you once imagined. There is a stirring within you that you've tried to quiet many times, a subtle internal shaking that rises in moments when life feels too small for the depth inside you. You've called it restlessness, wondering why you can't simply be content with what others seem satisfied with, questioning why familiar routines no longer soothe you the way they once did, or why certain environments now feel tighter, smaller, and more restrictive than before. This restlessness is not a sign of ingratitude or instability within you. It is evidence of a shift, a spiritual transition that has already begun. You are standing on the threshold between who you have been and who you are becoming, and your spirit senses this long before your circumstances catch up. There is a pull within you, a gentle but undeniable tug, calling you into deeper purpose, deeper alignment, deeper authenticity. It is not meant to unsettle you in fear, but to awaken you in awareness. This stirring is me preparing you for the next stage of your journey, removing the comfort that once held you so you can step into the places where your fire will burn brighter than it ever has before. This restlessness rises when you've outgrown old versions of yourself, beliefs that once served you but now limit you, relationships that no longer reflect who you're becoming, habits that kept you stable but now keep you contained. It surfaces when you are ready for more, even if you cannot name what the more is yet. You may feel caught between chapters, sensing an ending behind you and a beginning ahead, and this is exactly where transformation occurs. I am shifting your desires, sharpening your discernment, and adjusting your internal compass so that the direction you walk next aligns with the purpose woven into your spirit long before this moment arrived. You are not losing your place. You are discovering it. You are not becoming uncertain. You are becoming aware. You are not falling apart. You are expanding into the fullness of who you were created to be. Your restlessness is the call of destiny whispering that you cannot remain where you've been. It will nudge you into environments that feed your growth, into conversations that awaken deeper truths, into opportunities that challenge your strengths, and into moments where courage is required to step forward. The restlessness will not break you. It will build you. It will push you past the edges of comfort into the landscapes where your purpose thrives. Lean into it, because it is not a discomfort to fear. It is a divine invitation to rise. There are abilities, insights, and strengths within you that have not yet fully surfaced, gifts that have rested quietly beneath the surface of your life waiting for the right season to bloom. You may have felt glimpses of them, a sudden clarity you can't explain, an intuition that proves true, a creativity that emerges unexpectedly, or a strength that shows itself in moments you thought would overwhelm you. These glimpses are not random. They are early signs of gifts awakening, abilities that were planted within your spirit long before you had the maturity or circumstances to understand them. Many of these gifts remain dormant not because you lacked potential, but because timing shapes expression. You had to grow, heal, and evolve into someone who could carry them with wisdom and confidence. Now, the season is shifting, and what once slept within you is beginning to rise. These awakening gifts may feel unfamiliar at first. You may question their origin, wondering where this new boldness, discernment, or inner strength is coming from. But these gifts were always part of your design. They simply needed the soil of experience and the sunlight of growth to awaken. Some gifts will sharpen through challenges that stretch you. Others will emerge in peaceful moments when awareness settles into your spirit like a quiet revelation. You will notice that certain things feel more natural now. Insights arrive more quickly. Compassion flows more deeply. Wisdom forms without forcing it. These are signs that the seeds planted within you are breaking open, releasing what hath been hidden until now. As these gifts awaken, they will guide the direction of your life. You will feel drawn to new opportunities, new connections, and new forms of expression that align with the abilities rising inside you. These gifts will shape the way you solve problems, the way you lead, the way you love, and the way you influence others. They will attract the right people and remove the ones who can no longer align with the expanded version of who you are. And though this awakening may feel overwhelming at times, it is part of the design I crafted for you. The world around you needs what is emerging within you. The environments you will enter require the clarity, strength, and unique insight that only your gifts can bring. Allow them to awaken fully. You are stepping into the version of yourself that was always meant to surface, and this awakening is not accidental. It is purposeful, intentional, and timed with perfect precision. There were seasons when fear gripped you so tightly that it convinced you to shrink your dreams, silence your voice, or settle for less than what your heart quietly longed for. Fear spoke through doubt, through hesitation, through the belief that you were not ready, not worthy, or not capable of stepping into something greater. But fear's influence over you is dissolving, not through force, but through transformation happening within your spirit. I am stirring a boldness inside you, a courage that rises not from arrogance, but from truth. You are beginning to feel this shift even now, sensing a new strength forming in areas where insecurity once held you back. This boldness is not loud or reckless. It is steady, grounded, and rooted in clarity. It is the knowing that you are no longer defined by your fears, but empowered beyond them. This emerging boldness will guide you into conversations you once avoided, decisions you once delayed, and opportunities you once believed were beyond your reach. You will notice yourself speaking with more conviction, making choices with more confidence, and stepping into spaces with a steadiness that surprises even you. This courage is born from experience. Every moment you survived, every truth you learned, every wound that healed, every fear you faced. It comes from recognizing that fear's voice was always smaller than your purpose. It comes from understanding that the obstacles you once thought would break you became the stepping stones that built you. Boldness does not erase uncertainty. It simply refuses to bow to it. You will still have moments where the unknown seems intimidating, but the boldness forming within you will remind you that your destiny demands participation, not retreat. You will begin to trust the strength rising inside you, understanding that it is not merely emotional but spiritual. This boldness will shift the way you see yourself. You will stop asking if you are enough and begin recognizing that you were always equipped for the path ahead. You will stop waiting for permission and start walking in alignment with the calling that has been shaping your life for years. Fear once dictated your direction, but boldness will now guide your steps. You are stepping into a season where courage becomes your natural response, where your spirit refuses to shrink, and where your confidence is rooted not in circumstances but in identity. The boldness awakening within you is not temporary. It is a new way of being. It is the strength you've been waiting to feel, rising within you now at exactly the moment you need it. There is a shifting happening within you that you felt subtly for some time now, a quiet recalibration in the way you think, perceive, discern, and process the world around you. This is not random. It is a renewal unfolding deep beneath the surface, altering patterns that once limited you, freeing you from beliefs that once restrained you, and expanding your capacity for what is coming next. Your mind has weathered seasons that left imprints of doubt, fear, and uncertainty, but those old impressions are loosening their hold. I am clearing out the mental clutter that once clouded your vision. You may notice your thoughts becoming sharper, your perspective widening, your ability to recognize truth growing stronger. This renewal is not happening because you forced it. It is happening because the next phase of your purpose requires a mind that can carry clarity, not confusion, vision, not limitations, peace, not pressure. A renewed mind does not merely think differently, it perceives differently. It sees opportunities where old thinking saw obstacles. It discerns what aligns with your identity and what quietly drains you. It recognizes when fear tries to disguise itself as logic. This transformation prepares you to handle responsibility with discernment, influence with humility, and change with steadiness. This renewal also heals the places where old narratives shaped how you saw yourself. At times, you carried beliefs that diminished your worth, convinced you that you weren't ready, or made you feel as if your potential was out of reach. But those beliefs are losing their power now. New understanding is taking their place. Understanding that reflects who you truly are, not who you once feared you were. Your mind is being strengthened to support the dreams rising within you. Thoughts that once spiraled into anxiety will gradually settle into peace. Decisions that once required immense effort will become clear. You will begin trusting your instincts because they will no longer be clouded by old patterns of doubt. This renewal will make room for wisdom, guiding your choices not through pressure but through grounded certainty. You will find yourself thinking with greater creativity, courage, and spiritual awareness, not because your circumstances suddenly change, but because your inner world is shifting first. Everything I am preparing to entrust to you, new opportunities, deeper relationships, expanded influence, greater responsibility, requires a mind capable of carrying it. And that is exactly what I am shaping within you now. You are not merely becoming wiser. You are becoming aligned. You are not simply learning. You are evolving. This renewal will be your strength as you step into what you were always meant to hold. There is a transformation taking place within you that you cannot always see clearly, yet its effects are becoming impossible to ignore. You feel yourself outgrowing certain habits, perspectives, and emotional patterns that once defined your responses. You sense shifts in what you tolerate, what you pursue, and what you give your energy to. This is happening because the season ahead carries weight not in a burdensome way, but in a meaningful one. You are stepping into a chapter that will demand depth, resilience, discernment, and emotional maturity. You cannot approach it with the same tools you used in past seasons, and that is why you have been experiencing internal stretching, even in moments where you didn't understand why. This is not pressure meant to overwhelm you. It is preparation shaping you. Where you are going requires strength that comes from self-awareness, wisdom built through experience, and stability formed through healing. You are becoming someone who can navigate challenges without losing yourself, someone who can carry responsibility without collapsing under its weight, someone who can love with both tenderness and boundaries, someone who can lead without ego and follow without fear. You have felt this inner strengthening in subtle ways, moments when you responded differently than you would have in the past, times when you chose peace over reaction, clarity over impulse, discernment over assumption. These moments are indicators that your character is expanding. The wisdom forming within you now will anchor you later. You are being shaped into a version of yourself that can recognize opportunities that align with your purpose and walk away from distractions meant to waste your energy. This evolution may feel uncomfortable at times, especially when old versions of you try to pull you backward, or when familiar patterns attempt to reappear. But discomfort is often the sign that you are growing into someone your future requires. This new season will bring connections that match your maturity, opportunities that match your growth, and responsibilities that match your capacity. And because you are becoming wiser, you will approach everything with a clarity that previous versions of you did not possess. Your strength will not come from perfection but from alignment. Your wisdom will not come from never making mistakes but from learning deeply from the ones you survived. You are not being asked to become someone you are not. You are unfolding into the person you have been growing toward your entire life. The season ahead requires a stronger, wiser version of you, and that is exactly who you are becoming, steadily, intentionally, and beautifully. There is a sacred unfolding happening in your life right now, a quiet but powerful shift pulling every part of your journey into harmony with a design much older than your earthly existence. You may not have recognized it at first, but the inner clarity you've been experiencing, the changes in your desires, the fading of old attachments, and the rising of new vision are all signs that you are aligning with the original blueprint spoken over your life. There was a purpose written over you long before you took your first breath, a calling crafted with precision, containing every gift you'd one day carry, every lesson you one day learn, every strength you one day embody, and every life you'd one day influence. For years, your path has been shaped by memories, choices, wounds, and growth. Yet through all of it, there has been an unbroken thread pulling you toward alignment. Now that thread is becoming visible. You are stepping into a flow that feels natural, peaceful, and strangely familiar because deep down, your spirit has always known this direction. Alignment does not mean ease. It means clarity. It means walking in a path that matches your identity rather than contradicts it. It means choosing what strengthens your spirit instead of what drains it. It means recognizing the doors that truly belong to you and stepping away from the ones that do not. You are beginning to see with new eyes. Eyes that recognize truth beneath appearances, value beneath noise, and purpose beneath uncertainty. This alignment is moving you out of cycles that once kept you bound and into rhythms that nourish your soul. You will notice synchronicities, moments where conversations, opportunities, and inner confirmations line up in ways you cannot dismiss as coincidence. These are signs that what was written about you is now catching up with your present reality. Alignment also brings separation, not as punishment but as preparation. Certain relationships, habits, and environments will fall away because they cannot accompany you into this stage. What remains will be what resonates with your calling, supports your growth, and honors the person you are becoming. You will feel more connected to your purpose, more grounded in your identity, and more certain of your direction. The confusion that once clouded your path is lifting. The hesitation that once slowed your steps is dissolving. The version of you that once felt fragmented is coming together with harmony and strength. You are not stepping into something foreign. You are stepping into what was always meant for you. This is alignment. This is purpose becoming tangible. This is the unfolding of what heaven wrote about you long ago, rising now to meet the person you have become. There is a yearning within you that has grown louder in recent months, a longing for direction, for certainty, for a clear sense of where you are going and what you are meant to do next. You have felt the tension of standing between what you once knew and what you cannot yet see, and at times this has made you question whether you are missing something important. But clarity is not born from sudden revelation alone. It often unfolds gradually, like dawn breaking across the horizon. I am leading you step by step, not because I want to frustrate you, but because clarity formed slowly becomes clarity that sinks deeply. If I revealed everything to you all at once, your spirit would not yet have the structure to hold it. You are being shaped as much as you are being guided. Each moment of quiet conviction, each shift in your desires, each prompting in your spirit is part of that unfolding. You are learning to discern my voice, not through dramatic signs, but through alignment, through peace that lingers after fear fades, through a sense of rightness that settles even when logic cannot explain it, through an inner certainty that whispers truth louder than your doubts. The clarity you seek is not far from you. It is approaching, and it will meet you as you continue taking steps rooted in trust, not pressure. There are decisions you will soon face that require not just information, but spiritual insight formed through obedience. As you step forward in the direction your heart recognizes, clarity will meet you on the path, expanding as you move. You have been conditioned to believe that certainty must come before action, but in the realm of purpose, clarity often appears after obedience. The more you trust the quiet pull within you, the more vividly you will see where you are meant to go. Your fears have made you hesitant at times, but those fears are losing power because your spirit is maturing. You are learning to distinguish the voice of anxiety from the voice of direction, the voice of pressure from the voice of conviction. And as this discernment sharpens, you will no longer feel tossed between possibilities. You will feel drawn toward what aligns with your identity. Trust that the process is working in your favor. Trust that even the slow steps are steps. Trust that the clarity you've been praying for is not being withheld. It is being prepared inside you, shaping your thinking, refining your instincts, and steadying your heart for what is next. In time, the fog will lift, and you will see your path not as something you stumbled into, but as something you were guided toward, one obedient step at a time. There are opportunities forming in the unseen that are already carrying your name, doors positioned strategically along your path that no person, circumstance, or opposition will be able to block once the time comes for them to open. These are not fragile opportunities. They are protected, fortified, sealed by my intention. But walking through them will require faith. Faith to move even when uncertainty surrounds you. Faith to trust what you feel in your spirit even when your mind tries to calculate the risks. Faith to embrace the unknown because you recognize my signature on the invitation before you. When these doors open, they may not look like what you expected. Some will appear too big, too stretching, too demanding for the version of yourself you think you still are. Others will look too simple, too quiet, too different from what you once imagined. But I do not open doors based on your comfort. I open them based on your calling. And each one requires your willingness to step forward with confidence, not in your own ability, but in my guidance. There have been seasons in your past when opportunities slipped away, not because you were unworthy, but because the timing was not aligned. You were still growing into the strength needed to sustain what you desired. This time will be different. When the doors open now, they will do so with a timing that supports your maturity, your healing, and your readiness. Nothing meant for you will demand you to shrink yourself or abandon your values. These doors will require courage, but they will not require self-compromise. And as you step into them, you will feel an internal confirmation, a sense of this is right, even if everything around you feels unfamiliar. You will see how past disappointments prepared you, how closed doors redirected you, how waiting seasons sharpen your discernment. But the doors I open cannot serve you if you hesitate at the threshold. Fear whispers that you are not ready. Faith declares that readiness is revealed in walking, not waiting. Trust that I will open the right doors. Trust that no one can take from you what I intend for you. Trust that your courage will meet you when you need it. And when the moment comes, do not shrink. Do not second guess. Do not retreat. Step forward. Because the doors I open will lead you into chapters you were born to live. Throughout your journey, you've encountered individuals who misunderstood you, minimized your strengths, or failed to see the depth and purpose woven into your life. This created wounds that made you cautious, hesitant to trust, and unsure of where you truly belong. But you are entering a season where alignment in relationships will become one of the greatest signs of my hand at work. I am bringing people into your life who will not only appreciate your presence, but understand your purpose. They will see the calling on you even when you struggle to see it yourself. These are people who will speak life into your gifts, challenge you in healthy ways, support your growth, and stand beside you without needing explanation or persuasion. They will not be intimidated by your strength or confused by your depth. They will not ask you to shrink or apologize for who you're becoming. Instead, they will call you higher, recognizing that what rests on your life carries significance that deserves honor, not dismissal. These connections will feel different from what you've known. You will sense alignment quickly, not through superficial compatibility, but through spiritual resonance. Your conversations with them will spark clarity. Your presence around them will feel grounding rather than draining. Your dreams will feel safer to voice. Your identity will feel affirmed. Some of these individuals will walk with you personally. Others will appear in your professional journey, offering guidance, opportunity, or mentorship. And some will be lifelong relationships, people whose spirits connect with yours in ways that transcend circumstance. These connections are not random. They are carefully selected, intentionally timed, and spiritually arranged. There will also be moments where I remove people from your life, not out of cruelty, but out of protection. Misaligned voices can distort vision, misaligned relationships can weaken calling, and misaligned loyalties can hold you back from stepping into your purpose. The connections coming into your life now will restore trust, expand vision, and reinforce the truth of who you are. They will help you carry the weight of purpose. They will encourage you when doubt whispers. They will celebrate your victories without envy and sit with you in struggle without judgment. You were never meant to walk your journey alone. You were meant to walk it with those who understand the sacredness of your calling. And that is exactly who I am bringing to you. There is a quiet longing in your heart that has grown over the years, a desire to be surrounded by relationships that feel life-giving instead of heavy, supportive instead of one-sided, reciprocal instead of draining. You have walked through seasons where you poured more than you received, where you carried emotional weight for others who never considered the weight you held yourself. These experiences shaped you deeply, teaching you compassion, boundaries, resilience, and discernment. But they also left parts of you tired, weary from trying to be everything for everyone while receiving very little in return. I want you to know that your story is shifting. I am preparing connections for you that will strengthen your spirit, nourish your identity, and honor the depth you bring into every interaction. These relationships will not pull you into cycles of exhaustion or emotional depletion. Instead, they will uplift you, challenge you in healthy ways, and remind you of your value in moments when you forget, and even more in moments when you doubt. You will begin noticing this shift through subtle signs. Conversations that once felt obligatory will lose their pull, not because you are becoming cold, but because your spirit is awakening to the truth that you deserve mutuality. You will find yourself drawn toward people who respect your time, honor your boundaries, and celebrate your growth instead of feeling threatened by it. They will show up not because they need a place to unload their problems, but because they genuinely care about your heart, your healing, and your future. These are individuals who will listen without judgment, speak with sincerity, and walk beside you without expecting you to carry the entire weight of the journey alone. You will feel safe with them, not because everything will be perfect, but because their presence will be steady, consistent, and authentic. The connections coming into your life will stretch you, but not in the draining way you've known before. They will stretch you upward, not downward. They will inspire courage, not insecurity. They will draw out the best in you, not the part of you that feels obligated to rescue or fix. These relationships will mirror your growth. They will reflect your maturity. They will match your heart, your calling, and your capacity. And they will remind you that you were never meant to give endlessly without ever receiving. This next chapter will bring people who know how to pour into you with the same intentionality and kindness that you have poured into others. They will be anchors in moments of uncertainty, motivators in seasons of transition, and companions in moments of celebration. You are not stepping into a future of relational imbalance. You are stepping into a future of alignment. And every relationship I prepare for you will add strength to your life, not drain it. There is a rising happening within you, a quiet elevation that has been unfolding in your thoughts, your decisions, your desires, and your character. You are not the same person you were years ago. You are not even the same person you were months ago. Growth has been happening in layers, and each layer has brought you closer to becoming the version of yourself that is aligned with your calling. But with growth comes a necessary shift in who walks with you. Some people were meant for the earlier stages of your journey, stages where your vision was still forming, where your confidence was still strengthening, and where your boundaries were still being built. Those relationships weren't mistakes, they served purpose. But now, as you rise, the company around you must rise as well. I am bringing individuals into your life whose character aligns with your direction, whose values resonate with your spirit, and whose mindset supports the elevation happening inside you. These people will not pull you back into old versions of yourself. They will not pressure you to remain small to make them feel comfortable. They will not misunderstand your growth or misinterpret your evolution as arrogance. They will understand because they, too, are rising. They know what it means to step into greater purpose, to make difficult decisions, to leave behind what no longer aligns, and to pursue what reflects the truth of who they are becoming. Your presence in your life will feel like alignment, not resistance. They will walk with you at the level you are rising toward, not the level you fought so hard to outgrow. And their influence will sharpen your perspective, elevate your thinking, and support your momentum. You will recognize these individuals by the way they speak to your identity rather than your insecurity. They will not just see where you are, they will see where you are going. When you feel hesitant, they will encourage you with clarity. When you feel doubtful, they will speak to your potential. When you feel weary, they will offer strength rather than demand it from you. These connections are not accidental. They are divine placements prepared for a very specific chapter of your story. Because rising requires companionship that can breathe at the same altitude. And I am sending people who can breathe where you're going, not just where you've been. You were never meant to walk your purpose in isolation, even though many seasons of your life made you feel as if you had to do everything alone. Those solitary stretches taught you resilience, independence, and the courage to stand even when support was scarce. But those seasons were preparation, not your permanent reality. You are entering a time where community will become one of the greatest blessings I place around you. This community will not be built on convenience or coincidence. It will be built on purpose. Each person will carry something essential: encouragement, wisdom, partnership, accountability, creativity, spiritual support, emotional safety. Together, they will form a circle that strengthens your identity and accelerates your calling. This community will protect you, not by shielding you from challenges, but by providing stability during them. They will notice when your spirit feels heavy, and they will surround you with the kind of support that reminds you you're not alone. They will nurture your growth, offering perspectives that expand your understanding and helping you develop strengths you did not know you possessed. They will accelerate your purpose by pushing you beyond comfort, challenging your limitations, and celebrating your progress. They will give you room to grow, the freedom to evolve, and the courage to pursue what once felt impossible. This community will be marked by authenticity. There will be no hidden motives, no silent competition, no covert envy. They will honor your journey and expect you to honor theirs. They will stand with you not just in your victories, but in the moments where your faith feels thin and your heart feels vulnerable. Their presence will feel like alignment, their conversations like clarity, their companionship like belonging. This is the community your heart has longed for, the community your spirit hath been prepared to receive. And I am building it even now. There is a shift taking place beneath the surface of your life, a quiet but steady rearranging of circumstances, connections, and priorities that may feel unsettling at moments because it moves you away from what is familiar. Yet this repositioning is necessary. You have reached a point in your journey where your gifts can no longer remain confined within environments that limit your voice, drain your spirit, or diminish your potential. There are places you once fit comfortably that no longer reflect who you are becoming, and although part of you tries to hold on to the familiar, another part senses the gentle pull that is guiding you elsewhere. This internal tension is the first sign that your spirit is outgrowing the spaces around you. Instead of resisting the shift, I want you to understand that I am moving you into alignment with environments that will honor your growth rather than suppress it. Your gifts require room to stretch, to evolve, to influence, and to serve. And the paths opening ahead of you will provide what your soul has quietly needed all along. Repositioning often begins with discomfort, because leaving a familiar place, even one that no longer fits, requires courage. You may feel uncertain, unsure of the steps ahead, questioning whether you are making the right choices or misreading your instincts. But listen closely to what your spirit is telling you. Notice how certain spaces that once energized you now feel heavy. Notice how conversations that once inspired you now feel limiting. Notice how the dreams within you are becoming louder, urging you towards something greater. These are not signs of instability, they are signs of growth. When your purpose expands, the environment around you must shift with it. I am guiding you toward places where you will be understood without needing to shrink yourself, where your strengths will be valued rather than questioned, and where your presence will open doors you once believed were out of reach. This repositioning will make sense in time. You will meet people who draw out your potential rather than diminish it. You will encounter opportunities that align with your gifts so clearly that hesitation will dissolve into recognition. You will feel a freedom to express what has long been inside you: creativity, leadership, compassion, vision, wisdom, in ways you never felt permitted to before. The path ahead is not about abandoning everything you once knew. It is about stepping into the places where your spirit can finally breathe. I am not removing you from comfort to punish you. I am positioning you for purpose. Where you are going requires the fullest version of you, and the shift you feel is simply the beginning of that unfolding. As you step deeper into the life you were created to live, there is an essential work happening within your character, an internal refining that may feel subtle at times and intense at others. You might sense it in the way certain habits no longer sit comfortably with you, or in the way certain reactions rise in you only to be challenged by a new awareness that did not exist in earlier seasons. This refining is not about perfection, it is about preparation. The greatness within you cannot be sustained by talent alone. It requires strength of character, emotional maturity, integrity, discernment, and humility. These qualities anchor your calling, ensuring that when opportunities come, you will not only step into them, you will remain in them with wisdom. Many people desire influence, but few are willing to allow the inner work necessary to carry it well. Yet you have chosen growth, even when growth required letting go of old patterns that once felt safe. There are parts of you that are being reshaped through this process. You are learning how to respond rather than react, how to listen before speaking, how to remain steady in the face of pressure, and how to walk away from situations that compromise your peace. These shifts may feel challenging, but they are strengthening the core of who you are. You are becoming someone who can handle responsibility without losing yourself, someone who can hold authority without arrogance, someone who can influence others without compromising authenticity. Refined character does not silence your individuality, it amplifies it, grounding your gifts in integrity and intention. This refining will also protect you. Opportunities will arise that look appealing but are misaligned with your purpose, and your discernment will guide you away from them. People will enter your life with intentions that are unclear, and your sharpened intuition will reveal what once remained hidden. Situations will test your patience, but the wisdom developing within you will anchor you through them. Every part of this refining is connected to the future unfolding for you. I am not withholding anything from you. I am preparing you for everything I've promised. When you arrive at the places meant for you, you will not be shaken by pressure, confused by opposition, or overwhelmed by responsibility. Your character will hold you steady, allowing you to carry greatness with grace. You have prayed for greater, dreamed of more, imagined a future filled with impact, fulfillment, and purpose. What you may not fully realize is that every blessing carries weight, responsibility, stewardship, growth, and the capacity to sustain what you receive. This is why endurance hath been woven into your journey so intentionally. There were seasons where you felt stretched beyond what you thought you could bear, not because life was punishing you, but because your spirit needed the strength that only endurance can develop. Endurance is not formed in comfort. It is built in the moments when you choose to keep moving even when obstacles appear, when you stay faithful even when progress feels slow, when you hold on to hope even when outcomes are uncertain. These experiences have created resilience within you, a strength that will allow you to carry blessings without collapsing under their weight. Endurance is also shaping your mindset. It teaches you how to see challenges as stepping stones rather than setbacks, how to interpret delays as preparation rather than denial, and how to hold on to vision even when circumstances seem to contradict it. You are learning to trust the process, to trust yourself, and to trust the timing unfolding around you. This endurance is not draining you. It is equipping you. You are becoming someone who can lead with clarity, who can remain steady when others falter, and who can persevere through seasons that require more than excitement, seasons that require depth, consistency, and courage. Blessings that come too early can overwhelm you, but blessings that meet a soul strengthened by endurance become foundations for even greater purpose. The weight of what is coming will not break you. It will build you further. You will be able to carry opportunities that others might run from. You will embrace responsibilities that once felt intimidating. You will handle transitions with grace, challenges with wisdom, and success with humility. And when these blessings arrive, relationships that honor you, opportunities that expand you, environments that elevate you, you will not sabotage them or shrink beneath them. You will rise to meet them with confidence formed through everything you've endured. Endurance is shaping you now so that when the blessings come, you will not simply receive them, you will flourish within them. There are parts of your journey where you felt frustrated with yourself, wondering why certain patterns repeated or why progress required so much intentional effort. You've questioned why consistency felt difficult at times, why your motivation would surge in certain moments and then fade when life became overwhelming or unclear. Yet every struggle you faced with discipline, focus, and follow-through has carried purpose. I have been shaping you quietly, inviting you into a steadiness that does not rely on emotion or external validation. Your calling requires commitment, deep, anchored, resilient commitment, because what you are stepping into cannot be built on occasional bursts of passion. It must be sustained by a consistency that you learn over time. Every moment when you chose to show up, even when your feelings told you to withdraw, strengthened a part of you that will soon become essential. I've used seasons of repetition to refine your focus. I've allowed slow progress to cultivate your patience. I've guided you through periods that required discipline so you could learn to move with intentionality instead of impulse. You are not failing because consistency felt hard. You are maturing because you kept returning, kept trying, kept learning, even when the process felt demanding. In the future, when opportunities come that require steady hands, you will recognize how these moments prepared you to stand firm and follow through with strength that does not waver. Consistency is no longer a burden. It is becoming your strength, and it will carry you through every chapter ahead. There were seasons in your life where you wondered why the challenges you faced felt unusually heavy, why the emotional battles were so intense, or why overcoming certain struggles seemed to take longer for you than for others. But your resilience was being shaped intentionally, layer by layer, experience by experience. You were being trained not just to survive, but to influence. You carry a purpose that will reach further than you can currently imagine, touching lives you have not met yet, guiding hearts that will one day look to you for strength, and shifting environments simply through the steadiness you embody. That kind of impact requires resilience, not the hardened, closed-off resilience that forms when someone suppresses their pain, but the resilient softness that grows through healing. You have been developing emotional stamina, spiritual awareness, and mental endurance through every trial you've overcome. When others falter, or feel overwhelmed, you will carry a grounded strength that brings clarity to chaos. When someone near you is tempted to give up, the resilience within you will remind them what is possible. The influence you will have is not small, nor is it accidental. It is the natural result of the battles you fought and the healing you embraced. Your resilience does not make you invulnerable. It makes you impactful. And soon, you will see how every hardship that once made you question your strength actually prepared you to become a pillar of strength for many. There is a wisdom forming within you that did not come from textbooks, lectures, or surface-level experiences. It has grown from the quiet moments of reflection after heartbreak, the internal battles that reshaped your identity, the choices that taught you the weight of consequences, and the victories that taught you humility. Wisdom deepens through lived experience, through watching patterns unfold, through recognizing the truth beneath appearances, through discerning what aligns with your spirit and what subtly pulls you away. I've been deepening your wisdom because the influence you are stepping into requires more than charisma or talent. It requires discernment. You will be placed in situations where your choices carry weight, where your words carry influence, and where your presence shifts dynamics. Wisdom will be your compass. It will help you recognize who belongs in your inner circle and who merely seeks proximity to your light. It will reveal when to speak and when silence carries more power. It will guide you toward opportunities that align with your purpose and away from those that only appear promising on the surface. This wisdom will also protect your heart. You will not be easily manipulated, persuaded, or misled as you once were. You will see beyond flattery and identify intention. You will recognize doors that are traps and doors that are invitations. You will discern timing with clarity, understanding when to push forward and when to wait with patience. And as you grow, this wisdom will make you a source of guidance for others. People will come to you because they can sense the depth within you, the steady insight that does not rush or judge but sees clearly. This is why I have allowed you to walk through situations that forced you to think deeply, to question carefully, to evaluate thoroughly. The wisdom forming within you is not accidental, it is foundational. It will shape the way you lead, the way you love, the way you decide, and the way you influence. And as this wisdom matures, it will anchor every part of your calling with grace, discernment, and confidence. There is an inner awakening happening within you that you have begun to notice more frequently. Moments when something feels off even if nothing obvious is wrong. Moments when you sense truth beneath someone's words. Moments when your heart feels guided away from something your mind once believed was harmless. The sharpening is intentional. As you rise into greater purpose, discernment becomes one of your most essential tools. You cannot navigate a higher level of influence with the same level of perception you once had. You are being trained to see beyond appearances, to recognize subtle motives, to sense alignment before evidence appears, and to understand what is spiritually healthy versus what only looks appealing on the surface. This clarity is not meant to make you suspicious or guarded. It is meant to make you wise enough to choose what nourishes your spirit, protects your purpose, and honors your growth. As your discernment strengthens, you will notice that certain opportunities no longer tempt you, certain people no longer persuade you, and certain distractions no longer pull at you the way they once did. You will interpret silence differently, feel transitions differently, and understand timing more intuitively. Discernment is not about fear, it is about clarity, confidence, and alignment. It keeps you from walking down paths that would drain your spirit and guides you into spaces where your gifts can flourish. And as you continue to grow, this sharpened awareness will become one of your greatest strengths, ensuring that the steps you take lead you deeper into purpose rather than further into confusion. There was a time in your life when you felt you had to push, strive, chase, or convince in order to find your way. because you believed the doors around you were scarce and your options limited. Those seasons taught you perseverance, but they also led you into spaces where you had to work harder than necessary to be understood, valued, or recognized. But I am shifting that reality now. You are entering a period where opportunities will align with who you truly are, not who you tried to be, not who others wanted you to be, but who I designed you to be. This alignment will feel different. It will not require you to compromise your values, shrink your personality, or silence your deeper instincts. It will not leave you feeling drained or disconnected from yourself. Instead, these opportunities will feel natural, almost familiar, as if they were waiting for you long before you arrived. You will discover open doors that match your strengths, not expose your insecurities. You will meet people who appreciate your authenticity, not demand a version of you that isn't true. You will be invited into environments that value your uniqueness rather than treat it as an inconvenience. This alignment will also reveal how unnecessary forcing ever was. What is meant for you will respond to your presence without requiring you to pretend, perform, or push beyond what is reasonable. You will recognize the right opportunities not by how impressive they look, but by the peace you feel when you step toward them. Identity and opportunity are becoming one, and as this happens, your life will begin to move with a flow that feels both grounded and freeing, as if everything is finally coming together the way it was meant to all along. There is a depth rising within you that cannot be attributed to personality, talent, or natural confidence. It is something deeper, something spiritual. You are becoming someone whose presence influences environments in ways you do not always recognize. There have been moments when your quiet strength calmed a room, moments when your insight changed the direction of a conversation, moments when your peace brought stability to someone else's anxiety, moments when your conviction exposed truth in a situation where confusion once reigned. These moments are evidence of spiritual authority forming within you. This authority is not loud, forceful, or demanding. It is steady, grounded, and rooted in identity. It grows through intimacy with purpose, through resilience formed in difficult seasons, and through wisdom gained through reflection. You are being shaped into someone who carries weight in spiritual and emotional atmospheres, someone who shifts energy simply by standing in truth. This authority will continue to develop as you embrace responsibility, seek clarity, and walk with intention. It will give you the ability to speak words that break discouragement, to bring calm into chaotic spaces, and to discern hidden dynamics long before they surface. Others will sense something different about you, an unspoken strength, a quiet confidence, a grounded presence that both comforts and awakens. This is not about superiority, it is about capacity. You are being prepared to influence without manipulation, to lead without ego, and to guide without controlling. As this authority matures, it will protect you from environments that undermine your identity and empower you to step boldly into spaces where your presence is needed. You are not just growing, you are rising into someone whose very existence shifts atmospheres. There is a quiet construction happening within you, a rebuilding of the parts of your soul that once felt fragile, uncertain, or easily shaken by circumstances. You may not always notice the steady work taking place beneath the surface, but it is happening in every moment you choose honesty over avoidance, healing over hiding, courage over retreat, and growth over comfort. This strengthening is essential, because the future that awaits you carries responsibilities, opportunities, and blessings that must rest on a foundation capable of holding their weight. I am forming that foundation within you, not through dramatic outbursts of change, but through subtle shifts in your thinking, your reactions, your emotional patterns, and your sense of identity. You are learning to stand without collapsing when pressure increases. You are learning to anchor yourself in truth rather than fear. You are learning to trust your inner voice instead of depending on the approval of others. These internal shifts may feel small in isolation, yet collectively they are making you unshakable. A strong foundation is not simply about surviving hardship. It is about staying aligned during success. When your blessings expand, you will need inner stability to carry influence with wisdom, relationships with integrity, and opportunities with humility. Your inner world is being reinforced now so that when storms come, as they do for every soul, you will not fall apart. You will remain grounded, centered, and capable of navigating change with a calmness that once seemed impossible. This is not accidental. This is preparation. And with every layer of strength formed inside you, you are becoming someone whose stability can hold not only your own future but also the lives you will impact along the way. There were seasons in your life when certain spaces felt too large for you. Certain people seemed too confident. Certain opportunities appeared too far beyond your reach. You walked into some environments feeling the weight of insecurity pressing against your confidence, wondering if you belonged, if your voice mattered, if your presence carried anything meaningful. But those days are fading, not because the environments have changed, but because you have. You are being positioned now, not by chance but by intention, to step into places that once felt overwhelming and move within them with authority, clarity, and purpose. Your growth is not simply for personal peace. It is preparing you to influence rooms that once intimidated you. The strength forming within you is meant to bring grounding to environments filled with chaos. The clarity rising in you is meant to bring direction where confusion has taken root. The confidence developing inside you is meant to speak life in places where silence once controlled you. You will walk into certain spaces soon and realize that what once triggered insecurity now activates your purpose. The people who once felt unreachable will feel relatable. The tasks that once seemed too difficult will feel achievable. You will notice yourself responding differently, more centered, more grounded, more present. Because you're no longer trying to fit in, you're stepping in as someone who carries something valuable. Your confidence will not be rooted in pride, but in the quiet awareness that you have been prepared for this moment long before you recognized it. You are not meant to observe from the sidelines. You are meant to influence. And every environment you enter will shift because your presence is no longer shaped by fear but by purpose. There are unseen barriers within every person, internal ceilings formed by past wounds, hidden fears, old narratives, and the subtle influence of voices that once told you what you could or could not become. These limitations often operate quietly, shaping your decisions without your awareness, influencing the dreams you allow yourself to pursue, and convincing you to play small even when your spirit longs for more. But I am dismantling those limitations within you now. You may feel it as a growing discomfort with patterns you once accepted, a rising desire for expansion, or a shift in the way you view your own capabilities. These are signs that internal limits are being removed. The stories that once defined you are losing their grip. The fears that once controlled you are losing their authority. The interpretations of your past that once shaped your identity are being rewritten with truth. You are beginning to see yourself more clearly, not through the lens of shame, regret, or disappointment, but through the lens of possibility, strength, and calling. As these limitations break, you will notice a new boldness rising in your decisions. You will question long-held assumptions that once felt like facts. You will challenge beliefs that kept you small. You will start choosing paths that reflect who you are becoming rather than who you used to be. These inner shifts will open doors you once avoided, invite opportunities you once doubted, and reveal strengths you didn't know you possessed. This breaking is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to free you. You are stepping out of constraints you never deserved to carry. And as those limitations crumble, You will finally have room to grow into the fullness of who you are meant to be. There is a reason you've been feeling the weight of growth in ways that feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable at times. Your spirit is expanding, your emotional endurance is deepening, and your mental strength is widening because you are being prepared for responsibilities and opportunities that require more of you than past seasons ever demanded. You may notice that situations which once felt overwhelming no longer break you the way they used to. You may find yourself handling pressure with a steadiness you didn't realize was growing inside you. This stretching is not punishment, it is preparation. When a vessel is being shaped for greater capacity, it undergoes tension, pressure, and gradual expansion so that it can eventually hold more without cracking. The same process is happening within you. I am enlarging your ability to lead, to love, to discern, to create, to influence, to overcome, and to carry blessings without being crushed by them. This stretching touches every part of your life, your relationships, your emotions, your habits, your decisions, your resilience. The reason certain things feel heavier is because you are being strengthened to support more. The reason certain patterns no longer satisfy you is because you've grown beyond them. The reason certain challenges keep appearing is because you're being trained, shaped, sharpened. What is coming next requires a version of you that does not buckle under weight but stands anchored in purpose. You are not being stretched to exhaustion. You are being stretched into readiness. And when the fullness of what's ahead arrives, you will realize this season wasn't breaking you at all. It was building the capacity you didn't yet know you possessed. There are dimensions of yourself that you have only recently begun to see. Strengths that lived quietly beneath your wounds, abilities that remained dormant under years of self-doubt, and insights that adversity tried to bury under fear and insecurity. Yet through every challenge, something within you refused to die. Every disappointment uncovered another layer of resilience. Every heartbreak revealed a deeper well of compassion. Every unfair circumstance awakened instincts that protected your soul from collapsing. You have survived storms that were meant to silence you, and in doing so, you uncovered strengths that were always part of your design. You may not have recognized them at first. Strength rarely announces itself with fanfare. It reveals itself when you look back and realize you stood in moments that should have broken you. It shows itself when you respond with clarity in situations that once made you anxious. It becomes visible when you rise from setbacks with greater self-awareness, purpose, and maturity. These strengths are not temporary reactions, they are permanent parts of who you are now. I allowed you to face adversity not to strip you but to reveal you. There is a level of confidence forming within you that is rooted in truth rather than performance. There is a depth of wisdom growing within you that cannot be shaken by opinions or circumstances. There is a spiritual steadiness being built within you that adversity unintentionally helped awaken. What once tried to diminish you has instead defined you. And as these strengths continue emerging, you will walk into future challenges with clarity, into relationships with discernment, and into opportunities with confidence born from experience rather than fear. You are discovering who you truly are, and this discovery will change everything you touch moving forward. There was a time when you shaped your identity around what hurt you, believing you were defined by failures, shaped by disappointments, limited by rejection, or unworthy because of mistakes you made in moments of weakness or confusion. You carried labels that were never meant to belong to you, internalizing narratives that formed in seasons when you were fighting quiet battles no one else could see. But I am breaking those false identities now. I am separating your worth from your wounds, your potential from your past, your identity from your survival patterns. You are beginning to see yourself with new eyes, not through the distorted lens of pain, but through the truth of who you've always been beneath, the emotional debris of your journey. This clarity is coming through reflection, healing, conversation, solitude, and the shifting of your inner landscape. You are recognizing that you are not what happened to you. You are not the mistakes you made when you were still learning. You are not the version of yourself that operated from fear, abandonment, or confusion. You are not defined by the moments when you felt unworthy or unseen. You are something far deeper. Someone whose character has been refined, whose heart has been strengthened, whose purpose has been protected even when you didn't realize it. As this clarity rises within you, you will stop apologizing for existing. You will stop shrinking your voice to make others comfortable. You will stop hiding your talents out of fear of judgment. You will stop choosing relationships that tolerate you rather than celebrate you. Identity clarity brings freedom, and yours is unfolding now. You are learning who you are, and soon, you will walk with a confidence that comes not from pretending, but from finally seeing the truth of your worth. There is a sacred moment approaching in your journey, a moment your spirit has been sensing long before your mind could comprehend it. An internal shift that feels like both an ending and a beginning, both a release and an arrival. You may feel it as a strange mixture of anticipation and vulnerability, as though something within you knows you are standing on the edge of a chapter that will require your full presence, your full courage, and your full authenticity. This next step is not something you will stumble into by accident. It is something I have been preparing you for through every season you thought was random, every struggle you thought was pointless, every healing moment you thought was merely personal. You are stepping into the very purpose I wove into your being when I formed you in the hidden places of eternity. And in order for you to walk into it fully, I'm stripping away the last layers of hesitation, fear, self-doubt, and lingering narratives that once convinced you to shrink, to wait, to overthink, or to disqualify yourself. You have spent years growing into this version of yourself, years learning, overcoming, unlearning, rebuilding, fighting internal battles, and discovering who you are beneath the layers of expectation and pain. Now, everything is converging. Your past no longer holds you the way it once did. Your fears no longer paralyze you the way they once did. Your wounds no longer define you the way they once did. You are standing clearer, stronger, and more aligned than you have ever been, and this alignment is the doorway into destiny. This purpose will not look like striving. It will not look like frantic effort or forced progress. It will feel like flow, like resonance, like stepping into a space that fits you perfectly because it was crafted specifically for you. It will draw out every gift I placed in you, not in a draining way, but in a fulfilling way, where using your abilities feels natural rather than exhausting. You will find yourself in conversations where your words carry unexpected weight, in environments where your presence brings transformation, in moments where decisions become clear because you finally trust your internal compass. You will see confirmation after confirmation, not always dramatic, but consistent enough that you can no longer doubt that you are exactly where you are meant to be. And as you step into this purpose, you will also notice that what once intimidated you now activates you. What once discouraged you now strengthens you, and what once felt impossible now feels inevitable. This is because I have been shaping your inner world long before external opportunities appeared. Purpose is not something you perform. It is something you become. And you have become ready. In this next chapter, you will no longer second-guess the voice inside you that whispers truth. You will no longer silence your intuition to make others comfortable. You will no longer bury your gifts out of fear of misunderstanding. You will no longer wonder whether you belong in the spaces I'm calling you into. You will know that you do. The hesitation that once held you back is dissolving. The fear that once controlled you is fading. The uncertainty that once confused you is clarifying. You are stepping into purpose, not partially, not cautiously, not timidly, but fully, boldly. and with the confidence of someone who finally understands. This was never random. You were picked for this. And now, you are ready. Amen.